know her. It's tried to shower around the places down there this week. Looks pretty good. It's juicy. 16. Always is. Oh, like that balloon. You remember back then, hey, years ago on Buffalo and on that trail that Navarro. I ain't get that one. That's the thing. He died. Nancy went to his funeral. She didn't know him, but you know what? Yeah. When he got out of college, he started buying cattle. Holy Allen. So that dates him a little bit. Yeah. All right, everybody went inside. Come on in, get a good seat. Let's go. Everybody went inside. Here we go. All right, Hereford Bull to start with. A little bit stove up. 173, 174, 173, now 4, a bit of money, 4, 5, a bit of 75, 6 out of it, 7 out of it, 8, $8, 79, 81, I'm on 81, 2, $81, 2, $182, 2, 2, bit of $2, 2, 181, Lone Star 1 with the cows, right in there with the cows. It's $7 165 down $6 5 $6 money $6 $7 bit of $8 $9 171 bit of 2 bit of 3 bit of 4 bit of 5 176 75 now $6 6 175 Marty 17 It's 170 now $8 $172 2 72 46 78 80 bit of 2 bit of 4 bit of 86 88 190 90 bit of 190 190 bit of 90 bit of 90 188 show 77. It's happening. 190 now one. Every one, money 1, 2, 92, 3, 4, 95, 95, 194, 95, 95, 95, 194, Lone Star 1. It happened to 182, A3, A2, A3, A2, now 3, 4, 5, 6, 87, 88, 89, 90, 90, bit of 1, bit of 1, 190, Lone Star 1. $177, $8, $77, $8, money 9, 78, 9, 80, 81, 81, 2, 81, 2, 3, $83, $83, $83, $83, 182, Lone Star 1. Okay, got in here last night. 120 now one. Everyone, another one, another one. 120 on the money. Now one. 121. 121, 2. $81 now 3. 22, now 3, now 4, now 4, now 4. 24, 5. 25, $26, 6, $7, $7, 8. 28, $9, $30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 134, 34, 34. 133 showed. 113 is it? Let's have it at 150 now one. Everyone, one. On the money now one. 150 now one. 151. Everyone, one. 150 Marty, number 40, 13. Marty 13. It's having a $2 now one, $2 now one, 2, a bit of money, 2, 3, 4, about 204, 204, 5, 6, but a bit of 206, 7, a bit of 7, not a 7, 206, 207, 207, 207, 206, Lone Star 1. It happened 117, 18, 117, 18, 18, 18, money 18, 117, $18, 117, 18, 18, 18, 18, 19, 119, 20, 120, 20, 20, 20, 119, Marty, number 99. Seven, 120, but red one there, 125, 127, 125, 27, 97, not a 7, not a 25, 27, 125, 127, 7, not a better 7, not a 7, not a bit 7, 127, 125, Tom 1, Tom 1. By the head here, by the head. 125 by the head, 130. 125 on the money, 130. 130 by the head, 125. 130, 30, 30, 30, 130. 125 by the head, Marty, number 4. Okay, wait there, boom. Let's have it here. 190 now one, 190 now one, 91, money, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 197, 98, 98, 198, 97, 98, 98, 98, 197, show number 77. It's happening here. 290, now 290, now. No, you bought that one over there. What do you start at? 190? 190 now one. On the scale, big bull. 1, money, 1. 2, 3, 92, 3, 192, Lone Star 1. Okay, sell the yearling. 7 here, 290, now 2.5, 5, 290, 2.5, 5, 290, 2.5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 92, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 290, 2.5, Nolan 25, Nolan 25. It's happening, 135, 36 dollar, 135, money, 6, 7, 37, 89, $9, 41, 2, 3, 42, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 48, 9, 149, 50, 1, 2, 53, 4, 155, 56, 57, 58, 58, 9, 99, 60, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 65, 164, Lone Star. 150 now 150 now money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9.60. 1, 2, $1, 161, 2, 2, $2, 161 Lone Star. It's happening, $128.9, $128.9, money, $9, $8.9, 29, 31, 2, 3, 4, 34, 33, now 4, now 5, now 6, 37, 38, 39, 40, 1, 142, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 146, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9, 50, 151, 51, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 152, 151, show number 2, show number 2. $149, 81, 2, $81, $2, $141, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 49, 150, 151, 81, 81, 51, 152, 152, 3, 4, 5, 55, 56, 57, 7, 156, 7, 156, Lone Star. What's your left eye over there? Left eye. Cox red a little bit. $1 now one. $1 now one. $100 on the money now one. $1, $1, $1, $2, $2, 3, 4, 5, 106, 7, $8, $8, $9, $9, 10, 110, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, $17, 116. Marty, number 8, Marty 8, Marty 8. Checked at the ranch, marked at the ranch. 144.95, 144.95, 5, money, 5, 6, 7, 8, 48, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 52, 3, 153, 53, 152, Lone Star. Same way, marked at the ranch. 145, 46, 7, 8, 49, 150, 50, 151, 1, 2, 52, 3, 53, 4, 5, 55, 6, 7, 158, 59, 9, 61, 2, 162, 161, Reese number 21. Reese 2-1. 7 with 105, 106 dollar, 105, 106 dollar, $6 money, 6, $7, $7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 112, 112, 112, 112, 111, Marty number 7. Okay, so 2 big cows, fleshy cows, 150, now 1, 2, hit $1, $2, 53, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 58, 58, 9, $60, bit 1, 2, $1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 165, 5, 5, 5, 5, 164 Lone Star. Okay, you wait count. 117, 18, 18, 18, 17, 18, 18, money 18, 117, 118, 118, 19, 119, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 126, 6, 6, 125, Marty 8. $1 down one, dollar one, dollar one, dollar one, dollar one, $100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 112, 13, 114, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 121, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 28, 9, dollar 9, 31, 2, 31, dollar 2, 31, now 2, 2, dollar 2, dollar 2, 131, Javier 28, Javier 28. It happened 135, $36, 35, $36, $135 on the money, $6, 35, $36, $6, 135, 136, 135, Marty 25. Okay, what's your right hand? 125, $126, 125, $26, but the money, 6, a bit, 25, 26. 125, $26, 6 out of it, a bit of 6, 125, Marty 8, steer kind, 7 hand, 260, now to 4, 6, 8, 72, now 4, 6, 78, 82, to 4, 86, 88, 92, but a bit of 4, 96, 98, now $3, 302, 2, but a $2, but about 304, 302, show number 77. 7 hand, but a bit of 116, now to 162, 4, $2, 4, 162, 4, 6, 8, 72, 4, 6, 78, 80, 182, 84, $84, 86, 184, Marty 45, 7 have 145, 47, 145, money 79, 51, 53, 55, 79, 61, 35, 79, 71, 35, 79, 79, 81, 181, 181, 179, Marty 45. 225, 227, 225, 7, not a 225, 227, 225, 227, 227, $2, now 2, 4, 202, 204, 20 over here, 204, 6, $206, 8, $208, 208, 10, 12, 212, 14, 16, 16, 8, 216, 18, 218, 218, $219, 18, but 218, 216, that name is Santiago, number 2. Santiago, number 2. $245, $7, $247, $9, $249, $9, $479, $9, $9, $249, $249, $247, $9, $9, $247, Nolan 56. Said big one, big one. It happened here, $3 now, $2.5, $3 now, 2.5. On the money, 2.5. 3, selling the big one, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, but 15, but 15, 315, 315, 79, but 20, but 2.9, but 5, but 27.5, 30, but 2.9, but 5, 37.5, 40, but 340, 2.5, but 2.5, 340, lady number 94, lady 94. Heifer over there, $4 now, 5, $4 now, 5, money 5, 405, 405, now 10, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. Now 5, 440, 550, 455, 460, 460, 460, 460, 460, 455 Ritter, 455 Ritter, 380. Now 5, 95, 95, $4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 5, 450, 450. Now 5, 450. Now 5, 60, 5, 470, 5, 80, 5, 90, $5. Now 5, 505, 505, 505, $5. H36, H36. Had those calves jerked off. It had brand 4. 110, 111, over there, 110, 11, 11, 110, 11, 12, 112, 13, 1, 13, 14, 15, 16, 117, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26, 27, 28, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 32, 33, 4, 5, 35, 36, 7, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 41. Have this to go right along too. 41, now 2, 142, 2, 3, 4, 144, now 4, now 4, now 4, now 4, now 4, 143, show number 2. Too good. Tell Longhorn cow. It happened hand. $1 now one. $1 now one. Big cow. $1 now one. $100 now one. $1 $1 a pound now one. $1 now one. $1, $1, 2, 3, 4, 104, 104, 104, 105, 105, 106, 6, 7, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 107, 8, 108, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 108, Brian Hoffman number 5, Brian Hoffman number 5. $2 now 2.5, $2 now 2.5, $2 now 2.5, money 2.5, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12.5, 15, 17, 8, 20, 2.5, 5, 7, 8, 30, 2.5, 30, 2.5, 2, 30, 2.5. $170, now 2.5. Way down low, inner foot, 172.5, 172.5, money 2.5. Now 5, 7.5, 177.5, 177.80, 180, 82.5, 82.5, 85, 85, 187.5, 90, 92.5, 92.5, 190, Tom 3, 190, Tom 3. Over there, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, money 5, $4 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 455, 65, 75, 80, 85, 90, $4.95, $5 now 5, 505, 505, 505, $5 Troy number 2, Troy 2. Over there, $5 now 5, $5 now 5, $5 on the money now 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 25, 35, 5, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, 540, 5, 50, 55, 55, 550, Troy number 22. Troy 22, 380, now 5, 380, now 5, 95, $4, 5, 10, 410, 15, 20, 420, now 530, 430, 540, 550, 5, 60, 5, 470, 475, 80, 480, 85, 85, 90, 90, 490, 490, 95, 95, 95, 95, 490, Wilford Will Lee. Oh, there, $140 now two, $140 $2, $140 now two, $2, $140 now two, $140 now two, on the money, $142, 4, 146, 8, 148, 150, 152, 52, 54, 54, 446, 56, 58, 58, $58, $58, $58, 156, Tom, number 5, Tom 5. $4 now 5, $4 on the money now 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 440, 5, 50, 450, 445, now 50, now 50, now 50, now 5, 455, 460, 460, 460, 455, Troy 22. Sell a big steer. Over there, 220, now two. 220, now $2, $2. 220 on the money, now two, now two, now four, now six, now eight. 228, 32, 34, 36, 36, 238, 38, 238, 38, 38, 238, 238, 236, shoot 77. $3 now five, $3 now five, 10, 15, 20, bit a bit of five, bit of 30, bit a bit of five, 340, now five, 350, 5, 355, 60, 360, bit a bit of 360, 360. 355, capital number 35. Or steers. Two more, pick two like 305, 37, 8, 10. 3 10, 10, 10, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 7 and a half, 20, 2 and a half, 5, 327 and a half, 330, 2 and a half, 5, 35, 7 and a half, 40, 340, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 347 and a half, 347 and a half, 347 and a half, 345, Troy 5, 7 here, 290, now 5, 290 on money 5, 290, now 2 and a half, 295, 95, 7 here, now $3, 2 and a half, 302 and a half, 5, 305, 7 here, 7 and a half, 307 and a half, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 11, 12, 311, 312, 13, 13, 13, 13, 14, 15, 15, 314, Nolan 56, Nolan 56. Over there, $3.70, now 5, $3.70, now 5, $3.75, money 5, $3.75, 5, 85, 95, $4, now 5, now 10, 15, 20, 420, 420, 425, 30, 430, 430, 30, 30, 430, 425, that'll be H 38, H 38. So a little black, but $4.60 now 5, money 5, 75, 85, but $4.90, but $4.95, $5 now 5, 505, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 20, 25, 530 now 5, but 40, 40, 540, 540, 540, 535, Troy 22, 370 now 5, but 370 now 5, money 5, 80, 5, but 90, but $4 now 5, $4 now 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 445, 450, 55, 60, 460, 460, 460, 455, Wilford Wildy. Somebody there's haven't had 270, now 2.5, 275, 7.5, 80, 2.5, 87 half, 90, 290, 90, 290, 90, 290, 90, 290, 290, 290, 2.5, 95, 97 half, $3, 2.5, 305, 305, 302 and a half, Nolan 26, $3.70 now 5, 370 now 5, 370 now 5, money 370 now money 5, 375, 80, 5, 90, 5, 95, 395, $4, 5, 10, 15, 415, 415, 415, 415, 415, 415, 20, 420, 420, 420, 420, 420, 415. I'm up on top. You got to be 420. 415, Santiago. Bobby McKnight cattle. Okay, hold the bobtail. 365, now 7.5, 365, 7.5, 72 and a half, 2.5, 7.5, 80, 380, 2.5, 380, 2.5, 85, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 90, 390, 2.5, 5, 95, 397 and a half, $4, $4, $397 and a half, Troy 4, little, way down low on this Hawk old scar. 225, 230, 225, 230 on my 30, 5 and 45, 255, 260, 5 and 265, 75 and 275, 80, 285, and 285, 90, 290 and 95, but 95 now $3, $3, 5, but $3, 10, but 10, 310, 305, Lady 94, 305, Lady 94. Okay, we'll take it at 7.5, but 142 now 3, 142, 143, 142, 143, 142 on the money now 3, 114 now 3, 3 now 3, 142, Marty 25. Tell the big one, minute 280 now 5. 285, 90, 285, 95, but a $3, but a 5, but a 10, but a 12 and a half. 312 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half. 310, Troy number 6, Troy 6. Sell here, $3.40 now 5, but a 340 now 5, 55, but a 60. 360, but a 575, but a 80, but a 85, 90, but a 95, but a $4.05, but a 10, but a 4 and 10. 415, but a 15, 15, 15, 20, but a 420, 420, 420, 420, 415 below, 415 below. Sell the big one, a bull, I'm going to have a half, 350 now 5, 350 now 5, money 5, 65, 70, 370, but a bit of 5, but a bit of 80, 380, 80, but a bit of 75, 85, but a bit of 3 to 5, 85, 85, 85, but a 385, 380, Troy number 45, Troy 45, $3.70 now 5, but a 375, money 5, but a bit of 75, 375, but a bit of 80, but a bit of 5, but a bit of 90, but a bit of 5, 395, 95, 95, $4, but a bit of 5, 405, 10, but a bit of 15, but a bit of 20, but a bit of 420, 420, 420, 415, Troy 11. Sell three or more, pick 3 you like. $4 now 5, $4 now, money now 5, but a 10, but a 15, but a 15, 415, 20, but a 5, but a 30, but a 5, but a 40, but a 5, but a 50, but a 5, 455, 465, 475, but a 80, but a 5, but a 90, but a 5, 495, $5 now 5, now 10, now 15, 20, but a 5, but a 5, 25, 30, 535, but a 535, 535. 530 H number 36. There's a little bump there on his jaws. 7.5, but 250 now 5. 255, 65, 75, 85, 95, now $3 now 5. 305, 305, 305, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 340, 555, 360, 365, 70, 370, 70, now 70, 375, 75, 75, 75, 370, Brian Hoffman. 140 now two, $140 $2, $140 on the money now two, but $4, 146, 148, 52, 4, 54, 6, 8, 158, $60, but a two, but a 4, 64, 6, but a $8, $8, 70, 172, 172, 4, 246, 76, 78, 80, 82, 82, 82, 180, show number 77. 7 here, 290, now 2.5, 290, now 2.5. On money, 2.5, but a bit of 5, 97.5, $3, but a $3, $2.5, 302 and a 5, 305, 305, 7.5, but a bit of 7.5, 10, but a 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12.5, 12.5, 312 and a half, 312 and a half, 310, Troy number 6, Troy 6. Okay, test it open at the ranch. 7 hand, 175, 76, 175, $6. On the money, $6, 175, now 6, 7, $7, $8, $9, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 191, 2, 3, 4, 5, 96, 96, 196, 96, 7, 197, 98, 98, 99, $2, $2, 1, but I do 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I 205, 205, 205, 6, $206, 7, $8, $9, 9, 10, 210, 210, 210, 209, Marty 11, Marty 11, Marty 11 came right with them, 145, $46, $7, $8, $9, $950, bit of 2, bit of 4, bit of 6, $158, $60, $2, bit of $2, $4, $4.68, 168, 72, 22, bit of 4, bit of 6, 78, 80, bit of 2, bit of 4, bit of 86, 88, 92, bit of 4, $94, $96, $96, 96, 194, show number 8, show number 8. 290, now 2.5, 290, 2.5, 97, now $3, 2.5, 37.5, 10, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 79, 79, 20, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, capital 31, capital 31. Okay, Corlina Ranch got some cows coming in a little bit. Be black-eyed and be good ones, right kind. 370, now 5, money 5, 375, 80, 85, 95, but a bit of 495, 410, 10, 15, 20, 30, 435, 440, 5, 50, 455, 60, 460, 65, 70, 5, 80, 485, 90, 90, 490, 90, 485, H number 4, H number 4. Over there, $2.60, now 5, 260, now money, now 5, 265, 70, 270, 75, 275, 275, 270, capital number 94, cap 94, 7 head, $2.60, now 2.5, 260, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 7, 8, 70, 2.5, now 5, now 7.5, 80, 280, 280, 2.5, 85, 85, 285, 285, 85, 280, 2.5, now 5, 85, 85, 7.5, 287, 90, 290, 90, 2.5, 95, 97, 297, 7.5, $3, $3, $3, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 305, 305, 305, 305, 7.5, 10, 10, 12.5, 15, 15, 79, 20, 320, 2.5, 5, 327 half, 327 half, 330, 330, 2.5, 35, 35, 7 half, 337 half, 335 Santiago. Number 2. Santiago number 2. Now you can go, Vic. $2, now 30, now 2.5. 230, 2.5, 7.5, 40, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 50, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 60, 2.5, 5, 7, 70, 2.5, 7.5, 80, 2.5, 85, 87, 90, 290, 290, 290, 290, 287.5. Nolan number 27. 7 here, 260, now 5. 260. Black heifer on the scale, 260, now 2.5. Now 5. Black heifer on the scales, 265. 2.5, 5, 5, 5, 260, 2.5, Marty 11, Marty 11, Marty 11. 260, now 2.5, 2.5, 5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 7, 70, 2.5, 5, 75, 275, 5, 5, 5, 5, 270, 2.5, Nolan 27. Single jackpot. 360, now 5, 75, 85, 95, $4, now 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 430, 425, 30, 30, 30, 34, 34, 34, 30, 425, Troy, 45. All right, McGowan cattle, on your pass out. We've been waiting 45 days, had 2 rounds of Covaccinate, Triangle 5. Worm with sidectum. Boys waiting 45 days, 2 rounds of Covaccinate, Triangle 5. 325, 30, 325, now 30, 30, 330, now 5, 45, 50, 347 half, 350, 2.9, 52, 52, 55, 55, 55, 357 half, 357 half, $60, 360, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 7 half, 367 half, 7 half, 367 half, 70, 370, 370, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 370, 370, 367 half, Simpson 65. Well, same cattle, Wayne 45 days, 2 rounds of shots. 345, 7 half, 345, 7 half, 347 half, money 7 half, 345, 47 half, 350, 350, 50, 50, 50, 2 and a half, 2.5, 355, 7 half, 360, 2 and a half, 360, 2 and a half, 365, 7 half, 360, 7 half, 70, 370, 2 and a half, 2.5, 5, 75, 77 half, 377 half, 80, 80, 1, 2, 82, 3, 84, 84, 384, 85, 386, 387, 388, 388, 89, 90, 91, 391, 91, 92, 93, 393, 4, 395, 395, 95, 395, 95, 95, 95, 394, Simpson, 55. Steers, 7.5, 280, now 2.5, 280, 2.5, but 7.5, 90, 2.5, 97.5, $3, now 2.5, now 5, now 305, 302.5, now 5, 7.5, 37.5, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, $308, $8, 9, 309, 10, 10, 10, 11, 11, 311, 312, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 315, 316, 17, 18, 319, 320, 1, 320, 319, now 20, now 20, now 320, 319, Simpson, 37. All right, heifers handle the same way. $3, now $5.95. $3, now 5, now 10, now 15, 3, 15, 20. $3.20, now 5, $3.25, 30, 335, 40, $3.40, now 5, 50, 350, $3.45, $3.50, now 5, $3.55, $3.60, $3.65, $3.70, $5, $75, $3.75, $75, $3.70, Santiago. Number 2. Wing cattle, wing 45 days, 2 rounds of shots, 3, 9 hit, 330, now 5, 330, now 5, 330 on the money, now 5, 330, now 5, now 40, now 40, 340, 40, 37 half, 340, 340, 37 half, 340, 340, 2 and a half, 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 5, 345, 2 and a half, now 5, 345, 7 and a half, 347 half, 350, 350, 2 and a half, 350, now 2 and a half, 350, 2 and a half, 5, 355, 355, 7 and a half, 357 half, 360, 360, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 365, 7 and a half, 70, 370, 2 and a half, 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 375, 375, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 80, 380, 80, 2 and a half, 85, 85, 385, 385, 85, 85. 87 half, 390, 390, 2 and a half, 390, 2 and a half, 390, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 95, 95, 95, 7 half, 397 half, 397 half, 397 half, 395, Santiago. Number 2. 330. 335, now 40. 335, now 40, money 5. 40. 335, now 40. 50, 5, 355, 355, 355, 355, 355, 350, Troy, 3. $260, now 5, money 5, 265, 75, 85, 95, now $3, now 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 3, 10, 15, 20, 3, 20, 3, 15, now 20, 15, 20, 20, 20, 20, 3, 20, 3, 20, 315, Troy, number 7. Three or more, pick 3 you like. 315, now 20, money 15, 20, 30, 330, 40, 340, now 5, 45, 53, 50, now 50, now 5, 360, 5, 70, 375, 80, 380, 80, 75, 85, 85, 85, 390, 5, 390, 5, 10, 10, 15, 20, 20, 20, 420, 420, 420, 420, 415, Troy, 5, Troy, 5, 7 head, 240, now 5, 40, now 5, 50, 250, 240, 550, 50, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 245, Santiago. 2 is good or not, Jody? 2. 250 now 2.5, 5, 250, 2.5, 7.5, $60, 2.5, 7.5, 70, 2.5, 7.5, 80, 2.5, 85, 87, 90, 2.5, 5, 97, now $3, $3, $3, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, $10, 10, $310, $10, 10, 10, 10, 310, 307 half, D&D 89, 7.5, $3, now 5, $3, now 5, $3, mighty 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 335, 40, 340, 335, now 45, 45, 45, 45, 345, 340, Santiago, number 2. Say right here, but it's having hand 270 now 5, 275, 85, 95, $3, 5, 10, but $10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 5, 50, 355, 65, 75, 80, 380, 375, 80, 80, 375, that'll be H 47. 7 hand, both kinds, 320 now 2.5. You sell to them, Jody, 322 to them now 5 now 7.5. 327 and a half, 30 with a bit of 2.5, 35, 337 and a half, with a bit of 40 with a bit of 42 and a half, 45, 45, 7 and a half, with a bit of 3, 47 and a half, 53, 50 with a bit of 52 and a half, with a bit of 5, with a 55, 55, 7 and a half, with a bit of 60, with a bit of 360, 2 and a half, 29, 29, 29, 29, with a bit of 29, 2 and a half, 360, Troy, number 45, Troy 45. Troy 45, $3 now 5, $3 now money 5, $5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 330, 330 now 5, 35, 35, 35, 35, 335, 330, capital 35. Oh, there, 240 now 5, 240 on money 5, 5, 5, 50, 250 now 5, now 60, now 5, now 75, 80, 5, 90, 5, $3, 5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, 5, 5, 5, $3 and a B, D&D 93, D&D 93, 280 now 2.5, 280, 2.5, 85, 87, 90, 2.5, 7.5, $3, 2.5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 315, 15, 15, 15, 17, 379, 22 and a 5, 25, 325, 25, 25, 25, 322 and a half, D&D 26. 7 half, 240, now 2.5, 240, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 50, 2.5, 55, 7.5, 60, 2.5, 7.5, 70, 2.5, 7.5, 80, 2.5, 85, 87, 90, 2.5, 97.5, $3, 2.5, 7, 8, 10, 10, 13, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 307 and a half, H 71. 871. In the alley, 871. Look, boys, 13 of them, they've had a 7-way shot with somnus. There's steers, 315, 17.5, 315, 7.5, 20, 320, 2.5, now 2.5, 320, 2.5, 327 half, 327 half, 327 half, 7.5, 325, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 30, 330, 2.5, 32.5, 35, 37 half, 40, 2.5, 7 half, 347 half, 47 half, 347 half, 7 half, 345, Santiago, number 2. One steer, sell one steer, $3.20, now 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 7.5, 330, 2.5, 32.5, 32.5, 32.5, 330, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 35, 7.5, 337.5, 337.5, 335, Simpson 6. Okay, got a little bump there on his jaw. 7.5, $2 now 5. $2 now 5. 10, 15, 25, 35, 40 with a bit of 5 with a 50, 5, 65, 75, 80 with a 5 with a 90. 290, 85, 90, 285, 95. 295, 95, 295, 95, 95. 295, 290, Letty 94, Letty 94. Heifers right off 320 now 5. 320 on the money now 5. 30 bit 5, 40 bit 5, 350. 350 47 8 7 8 7 8. 345 capital number 90. 7 here, $3, now 5, $3, now 5, $3 money, 5, 10, 15, 20, bit of 5, but a 30, bit of 5, 40, 345, 50, bit of 5, bit of 355, 360, now 5, bit of 70, bit of 5, bit of 75, 80, bit of 5, bit of 85, 90, bit of 93, 90, 85, 90, 90, 90, bit of 90, bit of 90, 385, capital 92. Tommy Henry cattle. We boys have had Covexinate and Bova Shield Gold. Say you like them here, they're steers and right kind here. 340, now 5. 340, now 5. Money 5, but a minute 340, 5, but a minute 340, 2.5. 340, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 45, 47.5, 50, 350, 2.5, 350, 2.5, 5, 355, 7.5, but a minute 357.5, 357.5, 357.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. 355, Troy number 5. Steer kind 360, now 5. 360 on the money, now 5. 70, 375. 375, 80, 80, 80, 5, 85, 90, 390, 90, 85, 90, 90, 90, 390, 390, 390, 385, Troy 5, Troy 5. 340, now 5, 350, 5, 355, 360, 5, 360, now 5, 375, 80, 5, 85, 90, 390, 85, 90, 90, 90, 5, 395, $4, 5, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, $4, D&D 35. 340, now 2.5, 340, money, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 345, 7.5, 340, 7.5, 50, 350, 2.5, 355, 355, 55, 7.5, 60, 360, $60, 360, 360, 2.5, now 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 1, 2, 3. 360, 3, 4, 5, 65, 6, 7, 368, $8, $8, $8, $9, $9, 70, 371, 371, 1, 370, San Diego, number 2, San Diego 2. 7.5, 390, now 5, 390, now 5, money, $4, now 5, 10, 4 10, letter 10, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 20, 420, 70, now 20, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 425, 427, 30, 430, 2.5, 435, 37, 40, 2.5, 440, 2.5, 440, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 25, 445, 447, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 447.5, Troy number 4. 325 money 35 40 340 340 5 50 355 355 352 and a 5 355 355 352 and a 5 355 352 and a half, capital number 34. Red and a black, seller red. Sell Charlotte, 350 now 5. 350 now 5. Charlotte by the scale. Money 5, 355, 60. 5, 75, 80, 55, 95, $4. Now 5, 4, 10, 10, 10, 10, 15, 4, 15, 4, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 4, 15, 4, 15, 4, 10. Kenneth. 340, now 5, 340, money 5, 45, 50, 350, now 5, now 60, 5, 70, 5, 80, 5, 85, 95, 390, now 5, 395, 95, 95, 95, 390, Troy, number 3. 7.5, 390, now 5. On the money, 5, 395, $4 now, 5, 10, 15, 4, 15, 20, 425, 425, 30, 5, 40, 440, 440, 5, 445, 50, 450, 450, now 50, 50, 450, 450, 445, Kenneth. All right, long time win. 2 rounds of Vision 7. Okay, 2 rounds of Vision 7. 245, 7.5, 245, 7.5, 247.5, 52.5, 52.5, 55, 57.5, 257.5, 260, 2.5, 2.5, 260, now 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 260, Shoat, 77. Okay, boys, been waiting 2 months, and they've had a 7-weight with Somnus. by the head. 825 by the head, 850, 900 and a quarter, high 75, now 1,000 and a quarter and a half, 1075, 1075 by the head. 1075, $1,100, $1,100, $1,100, $1,100, $1,100, $1,100, $1,175, now 1100, 1100, 1100, 1,075, Lady Zero by the head. Vixen 8 triangle 10 and multi-man 370 now 5 375 85 95 $4 now 5 410 15 25 35 but a bit of 435 45 450 455 460 465 70 470 470 but a bit of 70 70 70 470 470 475, 480, 480, 485, 90, but 90, but 90, 490, 495, 495, $5, $5, now 5, but $5 a pound balloon. My ranch, boys, they've had an 8-way shot. Shares and good ones here. 375, 80, 375, 80, 80, 80, 80, 375, 80, 75, 80, 80, 75, 7.5, 375, 7.5, 377, 377, 8, you do it, 370, 80, 80, 80, 380, 380, 380, 380, 80, 80, 80, 80, 380, 377.5, Santiago 2. 335, 7.5, 330. You like them here. 335, money 7.5. 337 and 40. But 2.9, but 5, but 7.5, but 50, but 350, 350, 350, 350, 350, 50, 50, 350, 350, 350, 347 and a half. Reese number 7. Reese 7. 7.5, $4 now 5. $4 now money now 5, 10, 15, 20, 420, 420, now 5, now 30, now 5, 440. Now 5 and a bit of 50, but a bit of 5 and a bit of 65 and a bit of 465, 465, 55, and a bit of 468, 4. Yes, sir, they'll be good enough. Nah, sit here, my ranch. 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, money, 12 and a half, 310, 312 and a half, 310, 312 and a half, 15, 15, 79, but a bit of 20, but a bit of 320, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, but a 25, 7 and a half, 327 and a half, 30, 330, 2 and a half, 332 and a half, 5, 37 and a half, 337 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 and a half, 335, Troy, 24. Seven half, 315, 17 half, 317 half, 3 on the money, 17 half, 317 half, 20, but a bit of 320, 320, 20, 20, but a 2 9, but a bit of 5, but a 25, 25, 25, 7 half, 330, 330, but a bit of 30, 30, 30, 2 9, but a 2 9, 2 half, 330, now 2 9, but a bit of 330, 2 9, 2 9, 2 9, 2 half, 330, Troy, 24. Roban, boys, I've had an 8-way shot and triangle 10. Light and good. 450 now 5. 450 now 5. Money 5. 60, bit of 5, bit of 75, bit of 80, bit of 5, bit of 90, bit of 5. Now $5. Now 5. 10, bit of 15, bit of 20, bit of 5. 30, 5, 30, 5, 25, 30, 5, 35, 5, 40, 5, 40, 5, 45, bit of 5, 45, 5, 40 now 5, 5, 5, 5, bit of 5, 45, 5, 40 balloon. 7 here, $4 now 5, $4 money 5, and a bit of $4 now 5, 10, and a bit of 15, a bit of 415, 420, 420 now 5, 430, 430, 425, 35, 435, 40, 440 now 5, 445, 50, 455, 455, 60, 5, and a bit of 70, 475, and 80, and a bit of 5, and a bit of 85, 90, 490, 485, 90, 90, 90, 90, and a bit of 90, 490, 490, 485 balloon. 7 half, 340 now 5, 340 now 5, 340 now 5, 5 money 5, 345, 350, 355, 365, but it was 75, 80 bit of 5, but 90 bit of 5, 395, 95, 95, 95, 95, 390 D and D 4. Okay, Heart Grove, next 13 headband weighed 60 plus days. Weighing 60 plus days, 290 now. Oh, 182, 290, 295, no, 7.5. $3, 2.9, 7.5, 10. 310, letter 10, 7.5, 9, 10, 12.5. 312.5, 15, 15, 79, 79, 79, 20, 2.5, 22.5, 25, 25, 25, 25, 23, 4, 324, 25, 25, 6, 7, not a 7, 326, capital 31, capital 31, 270, now 5, 80, 5, 90, 5, $3, 5, $3, 2.5, 302.5, 302.5, 302.5, $3. Nolan 26. 7 here, 290, now 5, money 5, 290, now 5, $3, 5, 310, 315, 20, 5, 320, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 290, 2.5, 320, D&D 5.3. $7 here, $2, 60, now 5, money 5, 75, 80, 5, 90, 5, $3, 5, 10, 315, 310, 12 and a half, 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 310, Shoat 77. Seven here, 315, now 79, 20, but 379, 20, 317 half, 320, 2.5, 5, 27 half, 30, 330, 27 half, 30, 330, 330, 330, 330, 330, 327 half, D&D 5.3. So one big one, 330 now 5, 330 money 540 with two big ones, 340. Now 5, now 50, now 350, 350, now 5, 355, 355, 55, 355, 350, Troy, 45, 7.5, $3, 40, now 5, 50, 5, 65, 75, 85, 385, 90, 5, $4, now 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 435, 440, 440, 440, 440, 435, 40, 435, Troy 2. Okay, Ronnie Morgan. Okay, on your pass out, not correct. They are not weighing. Had Cattle Master and 8-way. $2.90, not 2.5. 3 head, 2.5. 95, 97 and a half, $3 now, 2.5, 7 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 79, 20, 320, 320, 320, 20, 20, 79, 20, 320, 2.5, 25, 25, 322 and a half, D&D 26, 7 and a half, 215, now 2.5, 5, 52 and a half, 255, 7 and a half, 62 and a half, 7 and a half, 72 and a half, 7 and a half, 80, 2 and a half, 7 and a half, 90, 290, 290, 90, 90, 290, 290, 290, 287 and a half, Shoat number 8. Tell the boom. 7 half, 280, 270, now 2.5, 277 half, 82 and a half, 7 and 92 and a half, 97 and now $3, $3, 297 half, $3, $3, 297 and a half, Nolan 26, 7 half, 315, 79, 379, money 79, 20, 2 and a half, 5, 25, 7 half, 330, 32 and a half, 5, 35, 37 half, 40, 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 340, 2 and a half, 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 340, Troy, number 24, Wayne and vaccinated. 7 half, 250, now 2.5, 250, now 2.5, 5, 52 and a half, 5, 7 half, $60, 2.5, 7 half, 70, 2.5, now 5, 7 half, 82 and a half, 7 half, 290, 2.5, 97 half, now $3, $3, 297 half, $3, $3, $3, $3, 297 half, H, 71. 3 little ones sell, 3 little ones there, 320, now 2.5, 320, 2.5, 27 and a half, 330, now you're buying these here, 32 and a half, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 340, 42 and a half, 347 and a half, 350, 50, 50, 352, 50, 2 and a half, 352 and a half, 352 and a half, 52 and a half, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 357 and a half, 357 and a half, 357 and 60, 360, 60, 3 and a half, 2 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 and a half, 360, Santiago, number 2. Sell a big heifer by the scale, 310, 12 and a half, 15, 79, 379. Over there, 79, 20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 325, Fox, 16, Fox 16's on the scales. 7 and a half, $3 now $5, $3 now $5, $3 now $5, $3 now $5, $5 money, $5, $10, $10 now 10, 315, 20, 325, 320 now $5, 320 now $5, 30, 330, 330, 330, 330 now $5, 335, 330, Capital 31, Capital 34. All right, Billy Sawyer boys, they've been weighing 2 months and had a 4-way. Sell the choice out of the pile, $4 now 10, $4 now 10, on money 10, 10, 10, 10, but $4 now 5, 10, 15, 415, 20, now 5, 430, now 5, your choice, now 40, 440, 440, 430, 45, 450, 450, 455, 455, 455, 455, 455, 555, 455, 450, Letty, number, straight Letty. He wants them all. 4 head. Straight Letty. Two or more. 350 now 5, 65, 75, 85, 95, $4 now 5. $4 now 5. That's on 2 of them. $4 now 5. $4 now 5. $4 now, yes sir. $4 now 5, 5, 5, 5, 405. 10, 15, 415, 410 Gully. 410 Gully. 7 and a half, 380, now 305, 10. 305, 10, money, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 330, now 5, now 40, 345, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 375, 380, 85, 85, 85, 385, 85, 85, 85, 385, 380, Letty. 7, Lady straight. $3.50 now 5, $350 now 5, money 5, $355, $350 now 5, 355, 60, 360 now 5, 70, 370, 5, 80, 85, 85, 85, 385, 85, 85, 85, 380, Troy 45. Okay, boys, they have been weighing 3 months, had a 7-way shot. $3 now, 2 and a half, 302 and a half, money, 2 and a half, 302 and a half, 305, 7 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 312 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 312 and a half, 315, 15, 15, 15, 79, 79, 20, 320, 20, 20, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 320, Simpson, 37. All right, Mike Irish. Was had a 8-way and triangle 5. 50-something head on this consignment. Had an 8-way and triangle 5. $7 and a half, 330, now 2 and a half, 330, now 2 and a half, 330, now 2 and a half, money 2 and a half, 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 330, 25, 35, 335, 37 and a half, 337 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, 340, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 347 and a half, 47 and a half, 347 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, 350, 350, 350, 350, 350, 350, 350, 50, 350, 350, 350, 350, 347 and a half, Simpson 70.
I got 17, but I didn't get a good count. I didn't.
11 head. You're buying 11 head here. Same good cattle. $3 now 2.5. $3 now 2.5. 2.5. 2.5. $3 now 2.5. Money 2.5. Money's down. 302.5. 305. 305. 5. 2.5. 305. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 307.5. 7.5. 7.5. 306. 7. 306. 7.8. $308. $8. 307. 308. 308.9. $309. $9. 10, 310, 311, 311, 311, 310, 311, 12, 312, 12, 11, 12, 312, 312, 312, 312, 311, Troy 24. 11 little brothers. 340 now 5. 340 gone. The money now 5. 340 now 2.5. But a bit of 2 to 5. But 345. 429 now 5. But a 7.5. But a bit of 347. 350. 350 now 2.5. But a 2.5. 2.5. 5. 5. 355. 357. 357. 60. 360. But a 2.5. But a bit 2.5. 2.5. 2.5. 2.5. 5, 365, and 5, 7.5, 367.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 367.5, 367.5, 367.5, 365, 7.5, 70, 370, 89, 369, 370, 1, 370, 1, 2, 373, 373, 333, 372, Troy 5. 350 now 70 now 5. 370 now 5. 370 now 2.5. 5. 7.5. 80 bit 380. 2.5. 85. 85. 7.5. 390 bit 90 bit 90 90 2.5 bit 2.5 2.5 5. 395 95 95 95 395 395 392.5. Troy 5. Sell one boom. One boom. Southern here, $2, 40 now 5, 240 now 5, money 5, 2 selling one big bull there, 240 now 5, 240 now 5, 5, 5, 50 with the 5, and a 255, 255, 255, 255, 60, 260, 260, 255, Nolan 29. Okay, one's got a little extra skin. Sure hadn't heard them. 7.5, 250 now 2.5, 250 now 2, money 2.5, 250. There's steers 5, 7.5, 60, 260, 2.5. Now 5, 7, 70, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 80, but a 2.5, 85, 7.5, but a 290, but a 92 and a half, 295, 95, 97.5, but a 97.5, $3, $3, $3, $3, $3, 297.5, Troy 24. $4 now 5, $4 now 5, 5, 10, 15, 25, but a 30, but a bit of 5, 440 now 5, now 50 now 5, 465, 465, 70, but a bit of 5, 475, but a 75, 80, 480 now 5, and 90, but a bit of 5, but a bit of 495, $5 now 510, 510, 15, 20, 520, 520, 520, 515, Baloo. Was a wean way back on July 23rd. Okay, look him over. 185, 190. 185, 190. 185, 190. 185, 190. 185, 190. 85, 90, 90. On the scales, going on 85, 90. Money 90. 195. Now $2. Now 5. Now 10. Now 15. 215, 215, 215, 215, 215, 210, show 77. To the bond. 320, now 2.5, 320, 2.5. We got one that, is there one that needs to come on? So 3 had 320, 2.5, 320, 2.95, but 22, 9.5, 7.5, 330, but 2.5, but 5, 35, 337.5, 340, but 2.5, but 42, 2.5, 340, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 340, re 7, re 7. 280, now 5, 280, now 5, and 280, now 5, 285, 95, $3.05, and a $3 now 5, 10, 13, 10, 15, 20, 325, 320, now 5, 325, 35, 35, 35, 40, 350, 350, 345, Santiago 2. 350 now 5, 350 money 560, 5, 365, 365, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 367 half, 70, 370, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 377, 80, 380, 2.5, 85, 87 half, 387 half, 87 half, 385, Troy 5. Two rounds of Covexinate. You talk about this. 320 now 2.5. 320 on money 2.5. 2.5, 320, 2.5. 325, 7.5. 30, 2.5, 5, 37 half. 337 half. 337 half. 40. 340, 2.5, 5. 345, 45, 45. 42.5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 345. 342 and a half. Capital number 31. 320 now 2.5, 320 on money 2.5, 7.5, 30, 2.5, 330, 2.5, 37.5, 340, 2.5, 5, 45, 47.5, 350, 2.5, 355, 355, 7.5, 360, 2.5, 25, 60, 7.5, 70, 2.5, 375, 7.5, 80, 380, 82.5, 85, 85, 7.5, 90, 390, 2.5, 390, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 390, Santiago, number 2. Dolan Ranch. Boys have had Fire Shield 6 and 8-way. $3. There's steers $3 now 5. $3 now 5. $3 now 5. Money 5. 305 10. $13 10. 15 20 320 379 315 79 79 79 79 315 Gully 6. Gully number 6. Over there's held by the scale, $3 now, 2.5. 302 and a half, money, 2.5, 302 and a half, 2.5, 2.5. By the scales, 302 and a 5, 305, 37 and a half, 310, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 312 and a half, 312 and a half, 12 and a half. Have him if you want, 12 and a half, 15, 315, 79, 20, 320, 320, 320, 320, 320, 317 and a half, D&D 5-3. $7.5, $3 now 5, $3 now money 5, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 3, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 15, 17, 20, 2 and a half, 5, 327 and a half, 330, 30, 30, 330, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 35, 35, 335, 332 and a half, 5, 335, 332 and a half Gully number 6. 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 15, 315, 12 and a half, now 15, 17 and a half, 20, 2 and a half, 5, 25, 325, 322 and a half, 325, 25, 25, 25, 25, 322 and a half, D&D 5-3. Sell the heifer. Sell a heifer, 330, now 5, money 540, 345, 50, 55, 365, 75, 80, 55, 85, 90, 5, 395, 95, 95, 95, 95, 390, Gully 1, Gully number 1, 290, now 5, 290, money 5, 290, now 5, 295, $3, now 5, now 10, now 15, 20, 325, 320, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 320, 2 and a half, 320, Nolan number 26. Mike McCabe. What's that 8-way shot in multi-man? McCabe. Mike McCabe. Eight-way on multi-man, 340, and now 2.5, 340, now 2 money, 2.5, 340, and now 3.5, 7.5, 350, 50, 50, 2.5, 55, 55, 7.5, 350, 7.5, 360, 2.5, 2.5, 25, 7.5, 370, 370, 370, 370, 370, 370, 370, 367.5, Santiago number 2, $73, now 5, $3, now 2.5, money, 2.5, 5, 305, 37.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 79, 20, 2.5, 325, 7.5, 330, 2.5, 32.5, 330, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 330, re-7, 320, now 2.5, 320 on the money, 2.5, 5, 27.5, 330, now 2.5, 35, 37.5, 40, 340, 25, 47.5, 50, 52.5, 355, 357.5, $60, 360, 2.5, 7.5, 370, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 80, 380, 82.5, 82.5, 382.5, 382.5, 380, Santiago number 2. African. There's 7, 350, now 5. 350, now 5. Money, 5. 360, now 5. Now 70, now 5. 80, 5. 90, 5. 95, 390, now 5. 395, 90, 95. 395, now $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, $5. Now 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 4, 5, 10, 4, 5, 10, 4, 5, 10, 410, 405, Santiago, number 2. Seven or 290 now, 2.5, 290. Hole 1, everybody, 290, 2.5, money down, 2.5, nice $7.5, $3, $3, 2.5, 5, 305, 7.5, 10, $10, 10, 12.5, now 15, 315, 79, 379, 317 and a half, 79, 79, 79, 315, capital 94, capital 94, $3, now 5, money 5, $3, now 5, 10, $10, 15, 20, now 5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, D&D 26. So 3 head, 3 head, 3 head. 380, now 5, 380, now 5, money 5, 380, now 5, 3 by the scales, 380, now 5, 385, 85, 90, 95, 95, $4, 5, 45, 10, 10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 20, 20, 20, now 5, 425, 25, 25, 25, 25, 420, Troy, 4, over there, 320, now 5, 325, money 5, 330, 5, 335, 40, 340, now 40, now 5, 345, 55, 340, capital number 34, 7.5, 390, now 5, now $4, now 5, 10, 15, 20, now 5, now 30, now 5, now 40, now 5, 50, 455, 65, 75, 80, 55, 90, 55, $5, $5, $5, $495, H number 4. Different check in a McCade. McCade cattle. Look at boys, right here. Okay, there's 29 had them. They've been weaned 30 days. Had an 8-way shot, triangle 5, and multi-man. 380, now 5. Weaned 30 days. 380 on the money 5. 385, 85 at a 380, now 5. Yes, sir. 85, 90, 95, 95, 92, 95, 95, 97 half. $3.97.5, $4, $4, $2.5, $2.5, $5, $4.05, $7.5, but 10, but 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12.5, 15, but 4. Have him right along if you want. 4.15, 4.12.5, 15, 4.12.5, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 4.15, 4.12.5. Troy 5. He wants him. Most time good cattle been waiting 30 days, had shots. Okay, hold the big red one. 320, not 2.5, 320. Okay, gonna hold the big red and one more, right? 322 and a half. Money 2.5, 5. 325, 7.5. 330, but a bit of 32 and a half, but a 2.5, 35, 35, 7.5, but a bit of 337 and a half, 337 and a half, 40, 340, now 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 345, 7.5, 50, 350, 2.5, 350, 2.5, 355, 57 and a half, 360. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 365, 7.5, 367 and a half, 367 and a half, 365. Simpson 6. Okay, so with the red, 290 now 5. Red one, 295, $3 now 5. 10, 15, 20, 5, 320, 2.5, 5. 320, 2.5, 25, 25, 25, 325, 25, 25, 322 and a half, Troy, 24. Sell the black Molly face, $2.60 now 5. 260 now 570, 580. 280, now 590, now 5, now $3, 5, 3 and 5, 5, 10, but a $10, 10, not 10, 3 and $10, $10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 310, 305, Santiago, number 2. Heifers right off of them, $3.50, now 5. On the money, 565, 75, 85, 95, but a bit of $4, now 5. 10, 15, but a bit of 415, 420, but a bit of 20, 20, but a 15, now 20, 415, now 25, 425, 430, 430, 430, 430, 430, 425, Troy number 21. 7 here, 380, now 5. 380, now 5. 380, now 5. 90, but a bit of 95, but a bit of $4, 5, 10, but a bit of 15, 20, 420, now 5, now 30, 430, 430, but a bit of 25, 30, 30, 30, 430, 430, 425, Troy 11. 7 here, $3, but now 5. $3 now money 5, but $3 now 5. 5, but 10, but 15, but 20, but 5, but 30, but 5, but 40, but 5. 350, number 50, 50, but 45, 50, 50, 355, 355, 360, 365, 75, but 75, 75, 370, Santiago, number 2. $340 now 5, $340 now 5. Here we go, 550 with a bit of 355, 360 now 5, now 70 now 580 with a bit of 380, 85 with a bit of 90 with a bit of 95 with a bit of 390 now 5, 390, 2.5, 390, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 with a 390, 2.5, 5, 397 and a half. $4, $4, 2.5, 402 and a half, 5, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, $10, $10, 10, $410, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 15, 415, 412 and a half, Santiago, number 2. Two little ones, I write two big ones. Sell 2 big ones. 370 now 5. 2 big ones. 375. 375. Money 5. But at 370 now 5. 370 now 5. But you're buying 2 big ones. 80 now 5. 90 5. $4 5. 10. 410. 15. 420, now 5, now 30, now 5, 440, now 5, 455, 460, 460, 460, 460, 455, balloon. 7.5, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, money 5, 10, and 15, 25, and 35, and 40, 445, and 445, 440 now 5, 445, 440, Troy 11. 7.5, $5 now 5, $5 now 5, $5 now 5, money's in 5, 10, and $10, 10, 15, 515, 515, 515, 20, 520, now 5, 525, 525, 525, 25, 25, 520, lady 0.
Burns Ranch.
Okay, Burns Ranch. Okay, boys, had a 8-way shot on the cow. 380 now 5, 380 now 5, 380 now 5, money 5, 380, 5, 5, 5, 385, 385, 90, 90, now 5, 95, 95, 95, $4, $4 now 5, 405, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 7.5, 4, 7.5, 410, $10, $10, 10, 10, of it, 410, 4, 7.5, 410, 4, 7.5, $10, $10, $10, 10, 407.5, Troy 5. Hey, you like me? 316 now 5, 316 now 5, money 5, 316 now 5, 316 now 5, 70, 5, 80, 380, 85, 85, 85, 85, 385, 380, 2.9 now 5, 85, 7.5, 387 half, 387 half, 90, 390, 90, 90, 90, 2.9, 2.9, 2.9, 2.9, 390, 2.5, 395, 397 half, 397 half, 397 half, 96, 97. 397, 98, 98, 398, 399, 399, $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, $1, 401, 401, 401, every $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, 401, 401, 401, 401, $4, Troy 5. $355, 7.5, $355, 7.5 on the money, 7.5, $355, 7.5, $355, 7.5, 7.5, 60, $360, $60. I got 7.5, 60, 2.5, 365, 365, 367.5, 370, 370, 370, 2.5, 5, 375, 7.5, 377.5. 375, 7.5, 377, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 375, Simpson, 6. $350 now 2.5, $352 5, $352 2.5, $55, $55 2.5, $55 5, 5, 7.5, $360 $60 2.5, $2.5, $365 5, 5, $2.5, 5, 5, 7.5, $370 $370 $72 2.5, 5, $375 2.5, 5, 7.5, $377 $80, $380 $80 $380 2.5, $80 2.5, $380 2.5, $380 2.5, $380 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 380, Troy 3. 7.5, $3 now 5, $3 now money now 5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, 10, 10, 15, 15, 312.5, 310, 12.5, 15, 79, 79, 20, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, Troy 24. 7.5, $3 now 5, $3 money 5, 10, 15, 20 with a bit of 5, 330 with a bit of 330, 25, 7.5, 327.5, 327.5, 7.5, 30, 330, 330, 2.5, 330, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 35, 35, 335, 335, 335, 332.5, capital number 31.
New deal. North Control.
Okay, so one. 350 now 5. 350 on the money now 5. 65, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 5, 10, 14, 15, 15, 15, 15, 415, 415, 410. Troy 21. By the head, boys. Does not see. 250 by the head, now 75. Now 300, now quarter. 3 and a quarter, 3 and a half. 375, 400 by the head, now quarter and a half. 4 and a half, 75, 500. 500 and a quarter. 525 by the head. 525, 25, 25, 25. 500 by the head, Marty 4. 500 by the head.
This is North Concho.
On your North Concho. Was that triangle 5 and a 7-way with Somnus. North Concho. 305, 7 half, 305, 3 7 half, 305, 3 7 half, 7 half, 305, money 7 half, 3 7 8 10, 10 10 10 10, $10 10 10, 3 $10 10, 10 12 and a half, 3 12 and a half, 12 and a half 15, 3 15, 3 15, 3 15, 3 15, 15, 17 and a half. 320, 320, 320, 2 and a half, 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 320, 2 and a half, 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 320, Troy 24. 7 half, $3 now 5, $3 money, 2 and a half, $3 now 2 and a half, 302 and a half, 302 and a 5, 305, 5 5, 7 half, 10, 310, 312 and a half, 312 and a half, 15, 315, 15, 15, 17 and a half, 370 and a half, 317 and a half, 320, 320, 320, 20, 17 and a half, 20. 2 and a half, 322 and a half, 321 2, 323, 323, 323, 33, board, 324, 324, 323, Troy 24. What do you got? 270, now 2 and a half. 270, now 2 money, 2 and a half, 270, 2 and a half, 2 and a 5, 7 and a half, 80, 2 and a half, 285, 87 and a half, 287 and a half, 87 and a half, 90, 90, 90, 90, 290, 290, 90, 290, 290, 287 and a half, capital 94. Who was that one of them, Jody? Oh, there, 70, 250, now 2 and a half. 250, 1 by the scales, 250, 2 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, 2 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 80, 80, 2 and a half, 5, 85, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 85, 285, 2 and a half, 285, 280, 2 and a half, D&D 89. 7 here, 7 here, 240, now 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 52 and a half, 7 and a half, 65, but 75, but 80, but 5, 90, but 5, but now $3, now 5, 10, 3 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, but $10, 10, 10, 305, D&D 17. That's 7-way shot. Set a little red there, 280, now 5, 280, now 5. So the little one, 280 on the money, 5, but at 285, 285, 285, 85, 85, 285, 285, 85, 85, 85, 280, and that'll be Troy 2, Troy 2, Troy 2, $2.60 now 570, but at 270, 265, 70, 270, but 70, 70, 70, 70. 580, 5, 90, 290, 285, Nolan 26. $310, 12 and a half, $310, 312 and a half, money 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 20, 320, 17 and a half, 20, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 25, 27 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 30, 330, 30, 30, 30, 332 and a half, 32 and a half, 2 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 and a half, 330, capital number 35, 34. 34.
These have not been, oh, these
320, now 2.5, 320, 2.5, money, 2.5, 320, 2.5, but a 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 325, 7.5, but a 330, but a 2.5, but a 32.5, 35, 7.5, 337.5, 337.5, 337.5, 335, Simpson 6. Joe Harmon. Okay, 340, now 2.5, 345, 7.5, 350, now 2.5, 55, 7.5, 360, 2.5, now 5, 7.5, 367.5, 367.5, 365, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 365, Gully 1. 7.5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, $3 money 5, $3, 5, 10, 15, 20, but a 5, but a 30, but a 5, but a 335, 335, 35, 35, 35, 335, 330, D&D 26.
Jack Wardlaw.
Had anthrax shot and blackleg. Wardlaw cattle, you'll like 'em here. 390, now 5, 390, now 5, 390, now 5, 390, now 5, 95, $4, $4 now 5, $4 now 5. 4, 5, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 20, 5, 425, 425, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 427.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 30, 430, 30, 30, 34, 34, 34, 30, 430, 430, 427.5, Troy, number 4. $360 now 5, $360 now 5, $360 on the money now 5, 570, 375, 80, 85, 85, 95, 95, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, $4 Troy 5. 7.5, 3, 10, 12.5, 3, 10, 12.5, 3, 10, money 12.5, 3, 12.5, 15, 79, 20, 20, 3, 22.5, 2.5, 2.5, 325, 7.5, 30, 32.5, 35, 3, 35, 33, 333, 34, 34, 35, 36, 336, 336, 335, Reese 7. Right here, 350, now 5, 350, now 2.5, 5, 7.5, 360, now 2.5, now 5, now 7.5, 70, 2.5, 375, 75, 7.5, 377, 80, 80, 2.5, 5, 87.5, 90, 2.5, 95, 97.5, $4, 2.5, 5, 405, 405, 405, 405, 402.5, Troy 5. Two head. Two big ones over there, 440, now 5, 450, now 5, now 60, now 5, now 70, now 5, 80, 5, 90, 495, $5, 5, 510, damn 15, 515, 515, 515, 515, 515, 510, Troy 2. Put them on 22. $350, now 5, now 60, $355, $316, $355, $65, $75, $85, $95, $4 now 510, $415, $20, $5, $30, $5, $40, $5, $50, $450, $455, $455, $455, $555, $455, $450 Baloo. Saddle black half fair. 7.5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 5, 350, 5, 60, 5, 365, 365, 70, 80, 380, 80, 75, 80, 80, 375, Santiago 2, 7.5, 280 now 5, 280 now 5, 95, $3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 345, 55, 60, 5, 3 375, 80, 85, 390, $4, $4.05, 10, 415, 15, 20, 5, 430, 30, 30, 35, 435, 40, 440, 440, 445, 445, 445, 50, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 445, lady number 0, lady 0. By the scales, 240, now 5, money 5, 245, 55, 65, 70, 55, 80, 55, 90, 55, $3, now 5, $3, now 5, $3, now 5, $5, $5, $5, $3, 5, $3, D&D number 89, D&D 89, $3, 20, now 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, hold the bull, 25, 7.5, 330, 2.5, 35, 35, 7.5, make them steers, 40, 2.5, 340, 2.5, 340, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 340, Reese number 6, Reese 6, 330, now 5, 330, now 5, 330, on the money, 5, 32.5, 330, 25, 35, 37.5, 337.5, 335, Troy number 45. Okay, they have had a Covection 8. Okay, hold the big one with the tag. 340, now 5. 340 on money, 550, now 5, now 60. 360, but even a 5, but even a 70, but 370. 2.5, 370, 2.5, 75, 75, 7.5, 7.5, 80. 380, 80, but 80, 380, 2.5, 85, 85, 85, 82.5, 80, 2.5, 85, 385, 385, 385, 380, 2.5, Troy 5. $360, now 5. $360 on the money, $570, now 5. At $375, 80, 5, 85, 90, 95, $4, $4, 5. 405, 405, 405, 405, 405, 405, $4. Simpson, 35. $340, now 5. $340, now 5. $340, now money, now 5. $50, $355, $355. $365, $360, now 5. Now 70, $70. $360, 7.5, $70. $370, $370, $370, $360, 7.5, $70. 2.5, now 2.5, now 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. $370, Santiago, number 2. $360, now 5. $360 on the money, now 5, now 70. Now 5, $375, 80, 85, 85, 90, 95, 95, 95, $4. $4, now 5, $4, now 5, 10, $410, 10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15, 20, 420, 420, 420, 420, 420, 420, 420, 415, Troy, 4. Okay, over there by the scale, 7 and $3 now 5. $3 now 5, 5, 5, $3. Money's down 5. 3 and 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 325, 30, 330, 330. 25, 7 half, 327 half, 30, 330, 30, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half. 330, capital 31. Okay, sell the deal. They're going to one bring us heifer back. 330, not 2.5, 330, not 2.5. 5, 7.5, 40, bit of 2.5, bit of 42, 5, bit of 7.5, 347.5, 347.5, 52.5, 52 and a half, 55, 357 and a half, 360, now 2 and a half, now 5, now 7 and a half, 370, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 377 and a half, 77 and a half, 377 and a half, 377 and a half, 380, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 380, 380, 380, 377 and a half, Santiago, number 2. 320, now 5, money 5, but 325, 30, with a bit of 5, 40, with a bit of 5, but 340, now 5, 340, 2 and a half, 340, 2 and a half, 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 340, Fox, 16. Seven and a half, 340, now 5, 340 on money, now 5, 345, 50, with a bit of 5, with a bit of 365, with a bit of 365, 360, 2 and a half, 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 360, 2 and a half, with a bit of 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 360, Troy, 3. 7 here, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, money 5, $3 now 5, 5, 5, 5, 10, 10, 10, 15, 315, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 320, 320 now 5, 30, 335, 40, 5, 45, 50, 350, 350, 350 now 50 now 5, 355, 355, 55, 60, 365, 70, 5, 75, 80, 80, 80, 380, 80, 80, 375, Santiago, number 2. All right, Wilford Wildy. They win 90 days, had a triangle 4 plus PHK and wormed with sidectin. 280, now 5, 280, now 5, 95, $3, 5, 10, 15, 20, but about 5, but 30, but 330, 330, 30, but 330, 35, but 35, 32 and a half, 330, 2 and a half, 332 and a half, 330, Troy, 6. Win 90 days, had triangle 4, worm. 7 here, 350, now 5, 350, now 5, 350, now 5, and money 5, 350, now 5, 350, now 5, 55, 5, 5, 5, 355, 355, 355, 355, 355, 355, 350, Troy 5, Troy number 5, Troy 5. Troy number 5, 7 here, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 15, but about 17, 20, 2 and a half, 320, 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, 5, 25, 7 and a half, 30, 2 and a half, 35, 335, 37 and a half, 40, 340, 2 and a half, but about 2 and a half, 5, 347 and a half, 347 and a half, 50, 350, now 2 and a half, 350, 2 and a half, 5, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 6, 357 and a half, 350, 60, but about 360, 360, 360, 357 and a half, Santiago, number 2, number 2. 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 312 and a half, 12 and a half, 15, 315, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 12 and a half, 17 and a half, 320, 2 and a half, 5, 25, 25, 27 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 325, Santiago, number 2, number 2. 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 315, 17 and a half, 379, 20, 2 and a half, now 5, now 7 and a half, 32 and a half, 332 and a half, 332 and a half, 332 and a half, 332 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 330, D&D 26, D&D 26, D&D 26. 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 320, what do you need, 2 or more? 2 or more. 320 now, 2 and a half, now 5, 7 and a half, 32 and a half, 7 and a half, 340, 2 and a half, 340, 2 and a half, 2 or more. 340, 2 and a half, 340, 2 and a half, 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 340, D&D 23. So these two, 320, now 2 and a half, 320, 2 and a half, 320, on the money, 2 and a half, 325, 25, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 325, Troy 1. Sell 2 or more, 2 or more, 7 and a half, $3, now 2 and a half, 2 or more, 302 and a half, money, 2 and a half, 302 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 302 and a half, any two you like, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 5, 305, 305, 7 and a half, 7, 8, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 317 and a half, 317 and a half, 317 and a half, 315, Troy 1. Oh, the little one, Gilbert. Little one in the middle. 280, now 280, now 290, but $2.4. 282, 4, 282, 84, 84, 84, 284, 282, 284, 84, 4, 4, 9, 4, 9, 4, 9, 4, 282, shoat number 8, shoat number 8. All right, Edmondson cattle from down in Brady. Boys, 2 round Fire Shield 6 with Somnus and 7-way with Somnus. Boys, with the head shots, they're ready to go. Yearling type right here. 7A, 280, now 2.5. 2A, 2.5, 5, 87, 90, 2.5, 97, now $3, 2.5, 37, 10, 12, 15, 17, 370, 20, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 25, 25, 7.5, 327, 327, 325, D&D 26, D&D 26, 7.5, 310, 312 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 15, but about 17 and a half, 20, 320, 2 and a half, but 5, but 27 and a half, 330, 2 and a half, but 30, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 330, 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, 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 330, 2 and a half, 330, Troy 6. Boys, Wayne, long time Wayne. 7.5, what do I say? But 7.5, $3 now 5. $3 now 5, but money 5, 10, but 15, but 20, but 325. 20, 2.5, 320, 2 5, but 25, 27, 5, 325, 2.5, now 5, now 5, now 5, now 325, 322 and a half. Simpson 65. Look at what's handling the Fire Shield 6 and 7-way. 2 red ones, 320, now 5. 320 on the money, 5, 30, but 5, but 40, but 40, 335, 45, 50, but 350, now 50, now 50, 350, 350, 45, now 50, but 50, 345, capital 35, capital 35, 70, 270, now 5, 275, 85, 95, but $3, 5, 10, 15, but 320, now 5, but 325, 30, 330, 325, 30, but 330, 330, 330, 330, 330, 325, Brian Hoffman. 7.5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, but 10, 15, but 25, 30, but 330, now 30, 330, 330, 330, 27.5, 30, 330, 330, 330, 330, 327.5, Troy 6. 7.5, 280, now 5, 285, 95, $3 now 5, 10, but 15, 312 and a half, 15, but 15, 79, but 79, 79, 20, but 320, 379, 20, 320, 320, 320, 317 and a half, Simpson 37. 7.5, 280, now 5, 280, now 5, 280, 2.5, 5, 85, 87, 90, 2.5, 5, 97, $3, 2.5, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, $3, D&D 89. 7.5, 260, now 570, 585, 95, $3, 5, but 10, but 15, 20, but 25, but 30, but 330, 330, 25, 30, 325, 30, 330, 330, 330, 325, shoat 60, shoat 60, yard him with the 8s. Yard him right in there with the 8s. All right, Wayne, 120 days. Head over should go. 280, now 5. 280 on the money, now 5. But 290, but 5, but $3, but $3, $3, $3, 295, 305, 305, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 305, 305, 305, 305, 305, 302 and a half, Troy 7. Hey, Gene, they showed your bull on the early. Seven and a half, $3.95, $3 two or more, $3.95. Money 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, $10, 10, 15, 315, 20, 320, 320, 79, 20, 320, 2.5. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, but a 25, 7.5, 30, but a 330, 30, but a 330, 330, 330, 330, 327.5, Troy, 7, $2.50, now 5, 255, 65, 75, but a 275, 80, 85, 285, 90, but a 95, but a 95, now $3, $3, $3, $3, $3, but a $3, 295, Shoat, 7, 7. Tested open at the ranch. $2 now to till 2, till 2, 4, till 2, till 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 222, 224, 24, 26, 28, 228, 30, 232, $2.04, 36, 8, 40, 2, 242, 224, 44, 6, about 8, 248, 52, 52, 252, 4, 54, 56, 56, 56, 58, 258, 260, 2, 4, 6, 8, 70, 270, 270, 260, 72, $270, Shoat number 8, Shoat number 8. Bulls over there, 280, now 590, but a 285, 95, but a $3.05, but a 10, 15, 20, but a 2.5, but a 320, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 25, but a 25, 25, 25, 25, 320, 2.5, capital 31, cap 31, 330, now 5, money 5, 45, 45, 50, 5, 355, 60, 5, 370, 5, 80, 5, 90, 5, $4, 5, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, $4, D&D 5, 3, D&D just 35, D&D 35, D&D 35. 380, now 5, 380, now 5, 90, 90, 85, 90, 90, but 385, 95, but $4, 5, but 10, 15, 20, 420, 420, 420, 420, 420, 415, lady, 94. $3.40, now 5, 340, now 5. 340, now 5. You buying 3 head, 340, 2.5, money 5, but 40, 2.5, 345, 7.5, 350, 2.5, 355, 357.5, 357.5, 357.5, 7.5, 355, Troy 3. Two blacks, 320, now 2.5, 320, 2.5, 7.5, 30, 2.5, 30, 2.5, 5, 335, 35, 35, 37.5, 337.5, 337.5, 337.5, 335, capital number 34. Seven here, 7.5, 7.8, 270, now 5, 270 on the money, now 5, 275, 270, 80, 280, 280, 280, 280, 280, 75, 85, 85, 285, 90, 90, 95, 95, $3, $3, $3, $3, $295, Brian Hoffman. Yeah, the big one, $3 now 5. $3 on the big one, $3 now money 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 330, 5, 340, 5, 45, 340 now 5, 350, 350, 350, 345, Shoat number 24. Shoat 24, 7 here, $5 now 5, money 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 5, 40, 5, 30, 5, 5, 40, 5, 40, 5, 40, 5, 40, 5, 40, 5, 35, Baloo. All right, you like them here. Denise Ranch. Denise Ranch. 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, money, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 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 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 315, 315, 17 and a half, 320, 22 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 326, 325, 6, 325, 26, $6, $6, $6, 6, 325, Troy, 25, 13 of them. 13. All right, should be 10 head here. Boys, he got the goods. Denise Ranch. Vancourt. Denise. But he got the goods. 290, now 2.5. 290, now 2.5. 290, 2.5. 290, 290, 290, 290, money, 2.5, 290, but he paid 2.5, 290, 2.5, 290, but he paid 2.5, 290, 2.5, 290, 290, 290, but 290, 2.5, 291, 291, 92, 93, 293, 293, 293, 294, 294, 394, 294, 293 and a half, 94, 294. 294, 94, 94, 94, 94, 94, 293 and a half. Troy 24. $12 head, you're buying 12 head. 320, now 2.5. 320, now 2.5. 320 on the money. 2.5. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. 320, 2.5. 25, 2.5. Now 5. Now 5. Now 7.5. 327 and a half. 327 and a half. 30, but a 330. 330, 2.5. 330, 2.5. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. 35, 35, 35, 7 and a half. 337 and a half. 340, 340, but a 40 now 40. 8, 9. 338, 9. Now 40, 340, now 1. Head with another 2, but a bit of 342, 343, 343, 4, 4, with a bit of 5, 346, 346, 347, 7, not a bit of 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9, 349, 50, 350, with a bit of 50, 53, 53, 53, 53, 50, 349, Troy 25. All right, you don't get the horns, make them all mealy. 330, now 5. 330 on the money, 5. But at 330, now 5. Holding the horns, 40. 340, now 5. 345, now 50. 350, but a 5. But 355, 60. 360, but a 5. But 365. 360, now 5. 5, 5, 5. But a 5. 360, Troy, 5. $7, 270, now 5, 80, but a 5, but a 95, but a $3, but a $3, $3, $2.95, $3, 5, 10, 3 and 10, 15, 20, but a 320, 315, now 20, 315, now 20, 20, 20, 320, 315, Gully 6, Gully number 6. Okay, loose over there now. Old deal goes with him. Look him over. 130 now 5. 130 now 5. 130 now 5. 130 now 5. Money 5. 135. 135, 35, 35, 40. But 150. 155. 155. 55, 55, 55, 55. 150. Marty number 4. Marty 4. Marty 4. $7, $2 now, 40 now 5, money 5, 245, 240 now 5, but a 50 with a 5, but a 60 with a 5, but a 75, 275, 5, 5, but a 5, 270, Nolan 29, 7 here, 330 now 5, 330 now 5, money 5, 335, 35, 35, 35, 40, but a 5, 350, 55, 55, 55, 55, 355. 350, Troy 5, Troy 5. You good? 2 big bulls, sell 2 big bulls. 305, 37 and a half, 35, 7 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 20, 322 and a half, 27 and a half, 30, 330, 30, 32 and a half, 332 and a half, 2 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 and a half, 330, capital number 34. $7.5, $3.40, now 5. $3.40 on money, now 5. $3.45, $5.50. $3.55, and $3.55, $60, $5, $70. $3.75, $75, $80, $80, $3.80, $3.75, capital number 35. So one big one there, 160 now two, $160, $2, money two, 164, 6, 8, 170, 72 and a half, now 5, 75, 7 and a half, 80, 2 and a half, 5, 87 and a half, 190, 2 and a half, 5, 95, 99, 5, 7 and a half, 197 and a half, 197 and a half, 197 and a half, 195, show 77. Sell the red, sell the red, 290, now 5. 290, now 5, 290, now 5, but 290 on money, 5 now, $3, $3, now 5. 3 5, 10, but 10, 10, 10, 10, but 3 5, $10, $10, $10, 10, 3 and 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 10, 305, Nolan, 5, 6. Little black, $7, $4, now 5, money 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 40, 440, 435, 40, 440, 40, 440, 440, 440, 435, blue. $7 and a half, 280, now 2 and a half, 225, 7 and 90, 2 and a half, 95, 97 and a half, $3, 2 and a half, 5, 3 7 and a half, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 310, 310, 310, 12, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 11, 12, 3 11, 12, 13, 3 13, 13, 3 13, 3 13, 3 13, 3 12, Nolan, 56. Sell one big one, 290, now 5. 209, one big one, 290, now 5. On the rail, 5, now $3, now 5, now 10, now 15, 315, 315, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 310, D&D 26. 340, now 5, 3 and 40, on the money 5, but 345, 55, 60, 365, 70, 375, 80, 5, 90, 5, $4, now 5, now 10, now 15, 420, 425, 425, 25, 25, 425, 420, Kenneth, 7 or 270 now 5, 80, 280, 280, 80, 80, 285, 285, 90, 290, 285, 90, 90, 90, 285, 90, 90, 90, 290, 285, Nolan 27. Sell 3 big ones, 3 big ones, 7 and a half, $3, now 5, $3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, 3, 20, 3, 15, now 20, 3, 17 and a half, now 20, 3, 20, 2 and a half, 4 big ones, 3, 22 and a half, now 5, 3, 25, 3, 25, 7 and a half, 3, 27 and a half, 3, 25, 7 and a half, 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 3, 25, Gully 6. 7 here, 330, now 5, 330, now 5, money 5, 40, 340, 340, now 5, 45, 45, 340, now 5, 5, 50, 350, 350, now 50, now 50, now 50, now 50, 47, 50, 350, 350, 350, 347, Troy, 25, 30, 45, I'm sorry, 45, Troy 45. 7 here, 270, now 5, money 80, 275, 85, 285, 90, 90, 285, 90, 90, 85, 90, 285, 90, 90, 90, 90, 290, 285, Nolan 27. Here's having her $2.50 now 5, 252 to 5. 252 now 5, 255, 255, 255, 255, 255, 555, 252 and a half, Nolan, 27. Hey, look 'em over here. Sell 3 little ones there, 350 now 560, 5 and a 70, but a 370, 370, but a 70, 70, 70, 75, 80, but a 5, 90, but a 5, but a $4, 5, but a 10, but a $10, $10, 15, 420, but now 420, 420, 420, 420, 420, 415, 8, D&D 3, D&D 3, D&D 3. Over there, one about 310, 12 and a half. By the scale, 12 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 15. 315, 12 and a half, 15, 79, 79, 20. 320, 2 and a half, now 5, 27 and a half. 330, 2 and a half, 30, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half. 330, capital number 94. Hold the big one. Hold one big one. 7 and a half, 310, 15, 79, 379, 20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 30, 330, 2 and a half, 30, 2 and a half, 330, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 330, 2 and a half, 330, capital 31. Okay, settle one on this side. One on this side. 280, now 5. There he goes, 280 now 5. Money, 590, 2 to 590, 2 to 590, 5, 295, $3, $3, 5, 5, 5, 10, 10, 10, 35, 10, $10, $10, $10, 10, 305, Nolan, 26, 290, now 5, 290, on money 5, $3, now 5, 10, 310, 15, 315, 310, 12 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 310, Nolan, 26. Sell the black steer, 370, now 5. Black steer, 85, 95, $4, 5, 10, 14, 15, 15, 15, 25, 30, 5, 45, 55, 455, 455, 455, 455, 450 blue. Sell the red, 330, now 5, 330. What's your tickets? 335, 40, 340, now 555, 365, 70, 75, 375, 75, 75, 75, 370. Shoat, 24. Shoat's on the scales. Three little ones there, 320, now 5, 320, now 5, 3 little ones, 25, 30, 5, 340, 45, 345, 50, 350, 50, 50, now 50, 350, 350, 350, 345, Troy 3, 290, now 2 and a half, 5, 95, now 7 and a half, $3, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 3, 7, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 310, 310, 310, 310, 307 and a half, capital 94. Seven and a half, two big ones, 280, now 5. Money, 595, $3, 5, 10, 15, 315, 310, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 312 and a half, 312 and a half, 310, Gully, 6. Settle black heifer, 7 and a half, 340, now 5, 345, 55, 60, but 5, but 70, but 5, 80, but 5, but 90, but 5, 395, $4, 5, but 10, 410, 15, 20, but 5, but 425, 425, 420, Troy, 21. Sell the big one, minimum 7 8, 280, now 5, 280, big one, 280, now 5, 90, 5, $3, 5, but 10, 15, 20, 5, 325, 325, 325, 320, D&D 26. So a little heifer, 330, now 5. 330, now 5. 335, 45, 55, 65, 75, 375, 80, 385, 90, 5, $4, $4.05, 4, 5, 10, 15, 4, 15, 20, 4, 20, 15, 20, 20, 20, 4, 15, Kenneth.
Here's the steer. This is another deal. No, this is Triska. She was supposed to have a black heifer, ear tag 605. 605. And the steer either had 835 or 845 on the other deal. They've got them switched. Yeah, they had a steer and a heifer. Ear tags. That was Edwin King. 1979. And the two ear tags were 80, 835 and 845. This steer, is that 835? This steer goes on Edwin King. What page is that on? 19.
I believe this one probably had that 605. Fix the 7 number right there. Okay. This steer is yellow ear tag number 835. 835. Okay. Put him where he belongs, and then put your one heifer where she belongs. Maybe.
330, now 5, 330, now 5, 330, now 5, and the money 5, and the money 35, 35, 335, 35, and the money 5, 40, 5, 50, 350, 345, Reese 6. Two big ones, two big ones, two big ones. 7.5, 320, now 5. 320, now 5. Money 5, 330, 5, 32 and a half. 330, 25, 35, 35, 35, 35. 335, 335, 7.5, 7.8, 40. 340, 40, 40. 337 and a half. Troy 45, 7.5, 316, now 5. 70, 85, 85, 95, $4. 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 430, 5, 40. 455, 455, 60, 5, 465, 465, 460, H4, 350, now 5, and money 5, 60, 5, 370, 5, 80, 5, 90, 5, $4, $4, 395, Gully 1, Gully 1. All right, for we got 340 now 5, 340, 5, 55, and a minute 3 and 55, 355 and a minute 3 and 50 now 5, 2.5, 350, 2.5, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 350 Troy 45. 7.5, 310, 15, 79, 20, 320, 2.5, now 2.5, 5, 325, 2.5, now 5, 325, we say 7.5. Forehead, 327 and a half. 330, 330, 2.5. You're buying forehead. 332 and a half, 332 and a half, 332 and a half, 330. Troy, number 6. Okay, inside. Little knot on inside of it, back leg. 240, now 5. 240 on the money, 5. 240, now 5. 50. 5, 65, 75, 275, 275, 275, 270, Troy 6. $320 now 5. $320 all money 5. And a $320, $530. $330 now 5. $340 with a bit of $40 with a bit of $340 with a bit of $37 and a half. $335. $337 and a half. 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 40. 40. 38. 39. 40. 340. 1. 2. 340. 2. But a $2 $1.5, 2, 342, 2, 2, 2, 2, but $8, $8, $8, $8, $8, $8, $8, $8, $8, 341 and a half, Troy 1. $3 now five, $3 now five, money 5, 10, 15, 20, 320, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 320, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 320, D&D 26. 7.5, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, money 5, $4 now 5, 5, 5, 10, 4 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 435, 435, 35, 35, 35, 35, 430, lady number 1. Sell 370 now 5, 370 now 55, 355 money 5, 315 now 5, 60, 5 and a 75 and a 80, 5, 90, 5, $4, 5, 10, 14, 15, 20, 5, 425, 425, 25, 25, 25, 420, Troy 21. $250 now 5, $255, 65, 75, 80, 285, 90, 290, 85, 7.5, 90, 92 and a half, 5, 97 and a half, 297 and a half, $3, $2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, $3, H71, H71. 7 here, 290 now 5, 290 on the money 5, 295, $3 now 5, 10, 15, 15, 315, 15, 20, 320, 2.5, 5, 320, 2.5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 325, 322 and a half, capital 31. $3 now 5 on the money now 5, $3 now 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, $3 now 5, $3, 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 3, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 3, 15, 3, 15, 3, 15, 310, capital 94. So 3 big ones, 280 now 5, 280 on the money 595, $3, $5, 10, 15, 20, 320, 315 now 20, 20, 315 now 20, 20, 20, 320, 320, 320, 320, 315 H71. That right here is happening at $3 now 5, $3 now 5. $3 money, 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 325, 25, 25, 25, 25, 320, D&D 23. Haven't had 2 big ones, 216 now 2.5, 216 now 25, and 7.5, 70. Two big ones, 270, 270, 270, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 267.5, Nolan 29. 7 here, 7 here, $3 now 5, $3 money 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 325, 325, 25, 25, 30, 330, 30, 30, 32 and a half, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 330, capital number 31. 2 big ones, 270 now 5, 85 and 90, but 5 and a $3 5, 10, but $3 10, 3 5, 10, 12 and a half, 312 and a half, 15, 15, 15, 315, 315, 315, 312 and a half, H number 71. 7 and a half, 310, 12 and a half, 15, 17, 22 and a half, 325, 325, 2.5, 5, 7 and a half, 30, 330, 2.5, 5, 35, 35, 335, 332 and a half, capital number 94. 7 had 290 now 5, 290 now 5, money 5, but $3 but a 5, but a 10, but 15, 20, 320, 315, 20, 20, but 20, 20, 20, 320, 315, Choke 77. 7 and a half, 380 now 5, 380 now 5, 95 at the board, $5, $4 now 5, 10 and 15, 415, 20, 425, 430, 30, 435, 435, 435, 435, 435, 430, Troy 21. $7 and a half, $4 now 5, $4 now 5, 10, 15, 15, 20, now 5, 430, now 5, now 40, now 5, now 55, 465, 75, 80, 480, 475, 80, 80, 80, 475, Baloo. Two or three more, $5 now, 5, 505, 10, 15, 25, 30, 40, 545, 555, 55, 565, 565, 565, 560 now 5, 560 now 5, 560 Baloo. Sell a big heifer. $4 now 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 445, 455, 465, 460 now 5, 465, 70, 475, 480, 485, 485, 485, 480 Ritter. 7 right here, 330, now 5, 330, now money, now 5, and a 40, 45, 50, 2 and a half, 355, 357 and a half, 360, 2 and a half, 25, 365, 362 and a half, capital 3. There's 7 here, 290, now 5, 290, now 5, 290, on money 5, 5, now $3, now 5, now 5, $3, now 5, $3, 5, 10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, now 20, 2 and a half, 325, 325, 2 and a half, now 5, 5, 325, 322 and a half, D&D 26. 7 here, 290, now 5, 290, on money 5, $3, now 5, now 10, 10, now 15, 20, 2 and a half, 325, 322 and a 5, 7 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 327 and a half, 325, capital 31. Okay, just unloaded 53 head of black calves. Be up here, Corina. Be up here in a little bit. 280, now 5, 280, now 5. Bob scales 85, 90. 285, 90, 90, but 285, 90, 90, 90, but 92, 92, 92, 90. 285, that'll be Nolan 56, Nolan 56, 340, now 5, money 5, 340, now 5, 350, now 5, now 60, now 5, 75, but 80, but 5, 90, but 5, but $4, $4, $395, D&D 40. 7 here, $4, now 5, $4, now 5, and 10, 15, 20, 55, 30, 55, 40, 445, 55, 465, 465, 70, 470, 465, 75, 475, 80, 80, 80, 80, 475, Solis, Say, look 'em over here. 330 now 5. 330 now 5. Money 5. 45, 55, 60, 55, and a 375, 85, 95. $4 now 5. 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 420 now 20 now 5. 420 now 5. 420 now 5. 5. 420 Gully 1. Seven here, $3 now 5. $3 now 5. Money 5, 10, 15, 3, 15, 25, 30, 330, 30, 30, 30, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 330, but it 2 and a half, 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 330, capital number 90. Put it on 94. 7 here, 270 now 5. 270 on the money 5. 275. 280, 85, 90, 5, $3, 5, $10, 15. 20, 2 and a half, 5, 320, 2 and a half, 5. 325, 2 and a half, now 5, 25, 25. 322 and a half, H, 71. 7 here, $3 now 5. $3 on the money now 5. 10, 15, 20 now 5, now 30, now 5, 335. 335, 35, 35, 35, 35, 335. 330 Troy 1.
Backside. Up close. Walk the one. Walk the one.
$340 now 5. On the money 5. $340 now 5. $50, $50 now 50 now 5. $355, $60, $5, $365, $70, $375, $80, $85, $85, $90, $5. $4. $395 capital number 2. Seven or 280 now 2 and a half 5. 87 and 95, but now $3 now 5 now 10 now 10 over 3 7 half 3 5 3 7 half 3 and 5 7 half 7 half 7 half 7 half 7 half 305 Nolan 26. Seven had 216 now 5. 216 now 5 and money 5 and 70 5 80 280 85 285 85 85 285 280 now 5 85 85 85 85 85 280 Nolan 27. Seven here, $3.20 now 5. 325 money 5 30 5 335 340 now 5 345 345 340 now 5 50 350 350 350 350 $50 $50 $50 350 345 capital 34. 7 here, 220 now 5. 220 now 5. 220 now 5. 220 on the money now 5. 230 5 40 5 50 5 255 255 5 255 250 Shoat number 8. T.R. Hines cattle. $7 half, $4 now 5. $4 now money now 5. $4 now 5. $4 now 5. Bouquet, box scale 5. $4 now 5, 5, 5, 10, 10, 10, 15, 20. 425, 30, 55, 40, 55, 55, 460, 460, 455 Baloo. Over there, 7.5, 330, now 5. 330, now 5. 330, now 5. By the scale, 35, money, 540, 340, 40, 40, now 40, now 40, now 5. 345, 340, now 5. 50, 350, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 350, 350, 350. 345, capital number 30, 34. 7.5, 370, now 5. 370 on the money, 580, 595, $4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 425, 425, 30, 435, 40, 440, now 5, 555, 445, 440, Kenneth. 7.5, 360, now 5. 365, 75, 85, 95, $4, 45, 45, 10, 15, 15, 15, 20, 420, 15, now 20, now 20, 420, 420, 415, Gully 1. $7.5, $4, now 5. $4, now 5, money, 5, $4, now 5. $4, now 5, 10, $10, 10, 4, 5, 10, 15. 415, 415, 415, 415, 415, 415, 415, 415, 410, Troy 21. Seven and a half, 280, now 2.5, 280, now 2.5, 5, 7.5, 90, 290, 290, 2.5, 92, 95, 95, 95, 95, 295, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 7.5. Now $3, $3, $3, $3, $3, $3, $297.5, Nolan 27. Shell right here between us happening. Big one, 160 now 2. 160 on the money, $2, 2.4, 2.4, 2, 6, 68, $8, 70, but 2.5, but 2.5. 75, 7.5, but about 180, but 2.5, but 85, 85, 7.5, but 90, but 2.5, but 90, 2.5, 195, 97.5, $2, but $2, 2.5, 2.7.5, 7, 10, 12.5, 15, but 15, 15, 15, 215, 79, 20, 220, 2.5, but 2.5, 225, but 7.5, but 7.5, 225, Shoat 77, 225, 7.5, 227.5, money 7.5, 230, now 2.5, now 5, now 7.5, 40, 2.5, 42 and a half, 240, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 240, Nolan 29. Two big ones, 220, now 5, turn 20, now 5, 220, now 5, money 5, 220. Two big ones, 225, 225, 5, 25, 30, 30, now 5, 40, 40, 245, 50, 250, now 5, 260, 265, 265, 5, 260, Shoat, number 8. You just have to take time for yourself and do it. No, it goes nowhere, does it? That one little one there, $2.90, now $5. Now $3, $2.95, now $3.05, $3.05, $5.10, $5.10, $15, $20, $5, $30, $3.30, $3.25, $3.30, $3.30, $3.30, $3.25, D&D 26. D&D's coming on. Them damn cattle won't go on. That's quick. Yeah, that's a show to 8. Every kind 7, 320, now 5, 320, money 5, 30, 40, 45, 340, 2.5, 42.5, 340, capital 90. Seven, but a 330, now 5. 330, now 5, money 5, but 40, 40, now 40. 335, 40, 40. 335, capital 34. Seven, 225, 7, 30, 230, 230, 230, 230, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 65, 70, 275, 80, 285, 90, 290, 285, 90, 90, 85, 90, 90, 290, 285, D&D 89. Two more, 50 like 72, 80, now 5. 280 on the money, 5, 285, 85, 2 of them, 285, 285, 90, 90, 95, $3, 5, 10, 10, 15, 20, 325, 330, 30, 30, 330, 325, Troy number 3, Troy 3, 270, now 580, 275, 80, 80, 280, 275, 80, 80, 80, 280, 280, 275, D&D 80, 93, D&D 93. Two more, pick T like 280, now 5, 280, 590, 5, $3, 5, 3 of 5, 5, 10, 10, 3 to 5, 10, 15, 15, 15, 15, 3, 10, 15, 20, 320, 320, 320, 315, Gully 6. Seven, 240, now 5, 240, now 5, 50, 250, now 50, now 50, now 50, 245, 2, yes sir, that black, 250, that's it, 5, 260, 260, 5, 270, 270, 270, 270, 270, 75, and 275, 75, 75, 75, 270, fry number 28, fry 28. 7.5, $3, now 5, $3, now 5, $3, now 5, $3, money 5, $3, 5, $3 now 5, 5, 5, $5, $5, $10, 10, 15, 20, 20, 320, 315, Brian Hoffman, 380, now 5, 380, now 5, 90, 90, 90. 385, 90, $4, $5, 10, 415, 20, 420, now 5, 430, now 5, 40, 440, 550, 450, 50, 50, 450, 445, H36. 345, 350 on money, 50, 50, but a 350 now 50, but a 5, but a 355, 365, but a 70, but a 5, 375, 85, but 85, 90, 90, 90, 385, 90, 90, 90, 85, 90, 58, 90, 58, 90, 58, 90, 390, 390, 385, D&D 40. Seven here, 140 now 555, 65, 75, 85, 95, $2 now 5, 205, 10, 10, 10, 205, 10, 205, $10, 10, 10, 10, 2, 10, 2, 10, 2, 10, 2, 10, 205, Tom 5. 7 here, 150 now 5, 60, but a 75, but a 75, 80, 85, 90, but a 195, 195, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 195. $195, $2, $195, Tom 5. Win 2 months, 7 hands, 240 now 5, 240 now 5, money 5, 240 now 5, 245, 50, 250 now 5, 60, 5, 265, 265, 70, 270 now 5, 275, 80, 80, 285, 85, 85, 90, 295, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 290, fry 28. 7 here, 216 now 5, 216 now 5, money 5, 5, 270, 275, 80, 5, 285, 285, 85, 85, 285, 285, 285, 285, 280, shoot 77. Say they got them pretty good here. 240 now 5, 240, 2.5, money 2.5, 240 now 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 245, 7.5, 250, 2.5 now 5, now 7.5, $60, 2.5 now 5, but 7.5 to 70, 2.5, 5, but 7.5, 80, 2.5, 85, but 85, 285, 285, 8, 2.5, 85, 285, 285, 285, 285, 285, 280, 2.5, shoot 77. Yes, sir. Take a look here. 270, now money, now 5, now 80, now 5, now 90, now 5, now $3. $3, $2.90, $3, 2.5, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 302 and a half, 2.5, $3. Troy, number 7. Seven here, 260 now 5, 260 on the money, 570, 275, 80, 280, 280, 280, 75, 80, 80, 280, 280, 280, 280, 280, 275, shoot 77. 7 here, $2 now 40 now 2.5, 240, 2.5, 240 now 2.5, 425, 47 and a half, 250 now 2.5, 5, 7.5, $60, 260, 2.5, 2.5, 5, but 7.5, 70, 270, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 270, 2.5, 270, shoot 77. Show date. Okay, 7 hands, 116 out, 51, 151, $1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 55, 6, 57, 58, 59, $60, 161, 160, Lone Star. Weather Bull. Over there, 7 hand, 180 now 180, he put $1, 1, he put $1, money 181, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 84, 85, 85, 85, 85, 184, Lone Star 1. Came with that black bull, she is light bred. 2,000, now 2,100. 2,000, now 21, 21, 21, money 1, 2,102, 22, now 3, 23 and a half, 2,400, now half, 5, 25, 24 and a half, now 5, now half, 25 and a half, 2,500, now $50, $50, $50, $50, $2,500 shoat number 13, shoat 13. Way more there, 240, now 2 and a half, 240, 25, 7 and a half, 52 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, $60, now 5, now 75, 80, 280, 80, 80, 280, 275, 80, 50, 80, 280, 275, shoat number 8. By the head, 7 months bred, 2,100, 2,200, 21 on the money, 2, 2, 2 with the big $2, 2, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24, 5, 25 and a half, 25 and a half, 2,600, 2,600 and a half, 26 and a half, 26, 7, $2,700, $2,700, 27, 2,700, 2,700, 2,700, 2,650, shoat 19, shoat 19. $160, Black Bull. He was tested. 160 now 2. 162 4. 162 4. 162 4. 162 4. 4 4 4 4 4 9 6. 168. 168 70. 170. Did a bit of 70 70 72 $2. 172. 2 2 2 2 $2. 170. Marty number 45. He's a steer. 7 hand. $2 now 5. $2 now 5. Got a little knot. 2 5. Money 5. 10. 15. 215. 220. Now 5. 230. Now 5. Now 35. 235. 235. 235. 35. 230. Troy number 7. Go away. His dad was partners with John Clifton.
Frank's grabbing him an empty hole. Now let it go.
Yeah. Oh, they are. There's some people's butts up.
You can't even buy beef in the store.
That's my fear, gonna get it so high people can't buy it.
Then what?
David! That's what they built that block gate for!
All right, here we go. They are first time to town, about as fancy as you're going to see.
I hadn't bid on anything all day, have I, Billy?
No, I don't think. $4,000, 41, 42, 41, 4,200, 41, $4,200, 41, 4,200, 42, 22, 33, 42, now 3, 4,200, now 3, 42, 43, 42, 43, $4,300, 4,300, 42, 43. $4,300. 33. Anybody else? 4,300, 4,300, 4,300. $4,200. Troy 30. Troy 30. 133. Now 4. 33. Money 4. 134. 5. 6. 135. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 135. Marty 25. Very fast, too fast. Yeah. They are steers. All right, Wayne, vaccinate, co-vaccinate, Bovishield. 7 or 280, now 2.5, 280, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 280, 2.5, I'm gonna 5, and a 7.5, and about 287.5, 287.5, 85, 7, 90, 290, 2.5, 5, 95, 297.5, 297.5, 297.5, 297.5, 297.5, 297.5, 295, Nolan 27. Boys, light bread, 170 now 171, 171 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 174, 175, 5, 5, 74 now 5, 176, 177, 178, $9, $9, $9, $78, 9, 179, 178, fry 10.
I'm looking. I can't read that fast. 2 red and black pairs. 1 red motley face cow. It nut ear tag 91 pairs with steer tag.
Okay, that's it. Okay, that's her kid. Weigh the cow.
Weigh the cow, weigh the cow. Weigh the cow, 150 now 1. Everybody $1, $1, 150 on the money now 1, 2, 3, 54, 55, 56, 57, 157, 157, 57, 57, 156 Lone Star. Weigh the calf, $5 now 5, $5 now 5, $5 now 5, $5 money 5, $5 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 535, 535, 35, 35, 35, 35, 535, 530 Ritter. Boys, baby tooth cow, heifer calf, 25, 2600, 25, 2600, young, here we go, sick, money 7, 28, 29, 29, 3000, now 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 3600, 35, 3600, 35, 3600, 600, 600, 35, 36, 3600, $3,500 Schwartz, 4 months bred. 1900, 18, she got a 4 on her. 18 on the money, 19 now, 2021. 2100, 2200, 21, 22, 21, 22, 2300, 2300, 2300, 2.5, 3, 23 and a half, 23 and a half, 2300 and a half, 2300 and a half, 3 now, 3 now, 3 now, $2,300 fried 10, fried 10. Broke mouth cow, 4 months bred. Weigher 135, 136. On the money 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 141, 142, 143, 144, 5, 5, 6, 146, 7, 147, not a 7, not a 7, not a 7, 147, 147, 147, 146. Brent, is that Brent? Is that right? No, it's Brent H. Brent H. Brent H. 340, weigh the calf, now 5, money 55, 360, now 5, now 70, 370, 75, 80, 380, 85, 85, 85, 385, 380, now 555, 385, 380. Troy, number 4, Troy 4. 7 and 133, now 4. Light red, 133, now 4. 134, money 4. 3, 4, 4. 134, 34, 34, 34, 34, 134, 133, Marty 20, Marty 25, Marty 25. Well, she's raising a fat calf. You bet. 2,700, 2,800. Calf raising kind. 27, 28 on the money, 2,800. 27, 2,800. 2,800. 27, 28, 29. Now 3,000. Now 31. 32, 32, 33, 33, 32, 33. 33, 34. Got a real calf. 3,400, 33, 34. 3,400, 400, 34, 34, 34. 3,300. Show number 11. 7 and a half. 230, now 2 and a half. 230, now 230, 2 and a half. Oh. Okay, sell the light bread. 240, now 5. On the money, now 5. 245, 240, now 5. Sell the light bread over here. 245. 50, 250, 250, now 50, 45, 50, 250, now 5. 255, 255, 55, 255, 255, 255, 255, 250 a pound. What do you? Justin Smith. Justin Smith. Okay, all tested open. 270, now 5. 270, now 5. On the money, now 5. 275. 270, now 2 and a half, 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 270, 2 and a half, 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 270. Show number 8. Okay, sell a solid mouth cow. 150 now 1. 150 now 1, 2. 51, 2. 152, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $8, $9, $60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 71, 2, 73, 73, 173, 3, 3, 3, 3, 173, 172, fry 10, fry 10. 144 now 5, 144 now 5, 6, 46, 45, $46, $7, $7, $8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 50, 151, 152, 152, 2, 2, 151, show 2, show number 2. Boys from Andrews, they are 4 months bred, solid mouth. 21, 2,200. On the money, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2,600, 2,700, 2,800, 900. Now 3,000, 29 half, 3,000, now half. 3,050, 3,000, now $50, $50, 50. 3,000, now 50, 3,050. Sold them $3,000. Show number 13. Broke mouth cow weigher. 7, 135, 136, 135, 36. On the money, $6. 135, $136, $6, 136, 135, Marty 25. Somebody want a fresh good calf right here. By the pound, $5 now 5. $5 now 5, 5, 5, $5, 510. 500, 5, no, wait it, 510. 510, 510 by the pound, 15, 20, 5, 530, now 5, now 40, now 5, now 50, 550 a pound, 550 a pound, 550, now 5, 555, 555, 565, 565, 560 below. 160 now 1, able to win another 1, able to win another 4 months bred. 160 now 2 and a half, 5, 7, 8, 70, 2 and a half, now 5, 7 and a half, 80, 180, 2 and a half, 180, 2 and a half, 85, 85, 7 and a half, 190, 92 and a half, 95, 95, 195, 195, 195, 192 and a half, fry 10. First one's light bread. 18 out of 19, 18 by the head, 19 out of now, 2000, now 21, 22, 3, 24, 23, 24, 23, now 4, 23 and a half, 23 and a half, 4, 4 and a half, 25, 25 and a half, 25 and a half, 25 and a half, $50, 50, 26 and a half, 26 and a half, 2700, $2,700, $2,700, $2,700, $2,700, 26 and a half, Kenny, number 4, Kenny 4, 155, 156. On the money, 6, 7, 8, now 9, now 60, now 1, 161, able to $1, $1, 160 Lone Star. 120, now 1, 121, 2, 121, 2, $122 day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 32, 4, 32, 4, 6, 138, 140, now 2, 144, 6, 148, 150, 152, 4, 154, 6, 8, 158, 160, 2, 164, 6, 168, 70, 172, 4, 4, 4, 4, 172, show number 2, 140, now 2, 140, now 2, 140 on the money, 2, 4, 6, 48, 152, 4, 154, 156, 158, 160, now 2. $160, now 2, now 4, now 6, now 8, now 70, 170, 170, 172, 172, 4, 174, 6, 78, 78, 78, 78, 78, 176, Gene Edmondson. Edmondson. They are tested up on 135, 7 and a half, 40, 140, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 50, 2 and a half, 55, 7 and a half, $60, 2 and a half, 5, 67 and a half, 70, 170, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 80, 2 and a half, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 190, 190, 2 and a half, 190, 2 and a half, 190, 2 and a half, 5, 195, 7 and a half, $2, $2, 2 and a half, 205, 27 and a half, 10, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 212 and a half, 212 and a half, 210, D&D, 77. Look at there with a 6 on her. 2021, 2021 on the money, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 25 and a half, 2600 and a half, 26 and a half, 2700, now half, 27 and a half, 27 and a half, 8, 28 and a half, 28, 9, 29, 29, 29, 109, 109, 109, 9, 58, 9, 28, 50, show 15. Oh, we got it. Say the big steers there, 145, 46, 145, 146, 7, 48, 149, 150, 151, able to 1, 2, 52, 3, 53, 4, 155, 56, 57, 57, 157, 157, 156, Lone Star. Weigh the cow, 150, now 1, $150, 1, 2, 151, 2, 3, 54, 55, 56. 57, 58, 159, 60, 1, 2, 3, 54, 55, 66, 7, 168, 168, now 9, yes sir, 9, 71, 2, 3, 74, 75, 76, 77, 79, 81, 83, 85, 87, 89, 91, 93, 95, 97, 99, 201, 201, 201, 201, 201, 201, 199, show 2. Over there, 270, now 5, money, 5, 270, now 5, 270, 580, 55, 285, 285, 285, 285, 285, 285, 285, 285, 280, Nolan, 26. Weigh the cow, 145, 146, 145, money 6, 7, 48, 49, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 149, Lone Star. Bull calf, 7.5, $4, now $5.10, 45.10, $45.10, $5, now 5, 505.10, 510, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 545, 555, 565, 570, 570, 575, 575, 80, 580, 80, 85, 585, 90, 590, 590, 590, 590, 90, 90, 585 Reese, 28. Reese is on the scales.
You're done. 128, 128,
Sell the big one there, but it's having had 220, now 5, 220, now 5, 225, 35, 40, 550, 255, 60, 570, 275, 80, 285, 90, but a 95, $3, $3, $3, $3, but a $3, $3, $295, Marty 11. 7 here, $4, now 5, 10, 4, 5, 10, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 4, 25, 30. 430, 435, 440, now 5, now 55, 465, 470, 465, 470, but a bit of 70, 465, H4. We say 23, 24, 23, 24, $2,400. Now money, now 4, now 5, 25, 26, 26, 27, 28, 29, 3,000, now 31, 3,000, 31, 32, 31, 32, 31, 3,200, 31, 32, 33, 33, 34, $3,400, 3,400, 33, 34, 34, 34, 34, $3,300 show number 311. Come in with that pair, 7 and a half. What do you got? 160, now 1. 162, 468, 72, 4, 76, 78, 82, 84, 86, 88, 90, 192, 4, 196, 98, 198, $2, 2, 204, 204, 68, 210, 212, 214, 16, 18, 218, 218, 218, 216, D&D 99. 7 here, $3, now 5, $3 money 5, 10, 10, 10, 15, now 20, now 5, now 30, 335, 330, now 5, 5, 330, Nolan, number 25. $23, 24. Sell the family. 23, 2,400. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 2,900. Now 3,000. Now 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 3,600, 3,700, 3,700, 3,800, 3,900, 4,000, $4,000, $4,000. Now 41, 4,100. 4,100, 4,100, 4,100, $4,000 Schwartz. Weigh the cow, 150, now 1, 150, now 1, 151, money, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 56, 56, 55, $56, 156, 155, Marty 25, Marty 25. What got? Weigh the calf, $5, now 5. $5 a pound, now 5. $5 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 a pound, now 5. $4.40, now 5. $4.40, $5.50, now 5, now 60, now 5, now 70, now 5, 80, 5, 90, $4.95, $5, $5, $5, $5, $5, $5, $4.95 Ritter. Weigh the cow, 150, now 1, 151, money 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 58, 59, $60, 1, $1, 160, Lone Star. Okay, got a little extra skin, $3, now 5. Right side of it, $3, now 5. $3, now 5. $2.50, now 5. $2.50, now 5. $2.50 now 5. $2.50 now 5. $2.50. $2.50 now 5. $2.20 now 5. $2.20 now 5. 225. On the money, 5. 225, 25, 25, 25, 25. 220, Tom, 3.
Corey Morrison from Sterling City.
Weigh the cow, weigh the cow, weigh the cow. 150 now 1. 150 now 1. We can get her going. 151, able to 1. Able to 1, another 1, another 1, another 1, another 1, another 151, 2. 151, 2. $151 2. $152 2, $2, $2. 151, that'll be show number 12 and yard with the 13s. 7 here, 330 now 5, 45, 55, 65, 75, at 80, at 385, at 85, 90, 395, 95, $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, $4, 395 Gully 1. Came in this morning. They'll be good enough here. Boys, 53 head of them all together. Corina Ranch. Year buying 22 head of them. 7 here, 350 now 2.5. 350 now 2.5. 350 now money 25. 355. 355. 55 and 7.5. 360. $60. $2.5. 2.5. 5. 365. 55. 2.5. 3 4. 365, 364, 5, $6, 367, 367, $8, $8, $9, $9, $9, 370, 1, 371, 371, 370, Troy 25. Twelve head. You're buying 12 head. They're about as good as we've had all day. They're good. Now, 7 here, 315, 317, 317, 19, money, 17, 15, 17, 317, 315, 17, $19, 319, 19, 21, 321, able to 1, 1, 2, with a $2, now 3, 323, 33, 4, 4, 5, 324, 5, 325, 6, 326, 7, 328, 328, $9, 30, 330, 31, 32, 332 to 3. Bit of 4, bit of 34, 5, 335, 34, now 5, 5, 5, but a 335, 334, Simpson 37. 7 here, 380, now 5, 380 on the money, 5, but a 380 now 5, 385, 85, but a 90, but a 5, but a $4, but a $4, 5, but a 10, $410, 10, 10, 10, 10, but a 15, 15, 15, 415, 410, 15, 20, 420, 420, 420, 420, 79, 20, 420, 420, 420, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, but a 5, but a 5, 425, 422 and a half, Troy 4. Steer kind and good ones here. 7.5, 355, 7.5, 355, money 7.5, 360, 360, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 5, 367 and a half, 367 and a half, 70, 370, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 375, 7.5, 7.5, 80, 380, 80, 80, 2.5, 82 and a half, 380, 1, 2, 380, 1, 2, 3, 383, 383, 84, 84, 85, 385, 85, 85, 86, 86, 86, 7, 87, 87, 88, 88, 89, 89, 389, 390, 90, 91, 1, 2, but a D, day 3, 393, 33, but a 4, but a 94, 94, 394, 93, 94, but a 94, 94, 393, Troy 5. Bulls, 7.5, 340 now 5. On, you do it, 340 now 5, 340 now 5. 2 bulls on the money, now 5. 345, 340 now 5, 5, 5, 5, 50, 350, 350, 355, 360, $60, 70, 375, 80, 80, 380, 380, 375, D&D 40. D&D 40. 7.5, $3 now 5, $3 now 5, $3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 320, 15, 25, 325, 30, 335, 335, 35, 35, 35, 330, Troy 6. 7 half, number 160 now one. $160 now one. Everybody one. Money one. 160, 1, 2. At a 1, 2, 3. 3, 4. But a 5. But a bit of a 5. 64 now 5. 5, 5, 5. And a bit of 5. 164 Lone Star 1. All right, I guess that's it. That's all. Thank everybody. Appreciate the business. Thanks for being here. Be back next Thursday morning, 9 a.m.